electrifying, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. It's the John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6. And then after 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. That's the podcast, same as the radio show. We are live on YouTube. You can watch us on your video screen. We're live on X. And youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow is where you can subscribe, become a member. And we only need 1,500 more subscribers to hit 10,000 on YouTube. Well, that's an exciting milestone, isn't it? I'm sure you're going to be up at night rooting for that. So 2 rounds of the Moist Line coming up after when? After 5 o'clock, right? 5:20 and 5:50. And we're going to be on Deborah watch for the entire afternoon. She's not sleeping well, and I've seen a record number of yawns.
I'm sorry.
And
it's been a rough year.
I understand. Yeah, you've had a lot going on.
I have,
but I'm now checking to see if you drift off.
I might. I actually have circles under my eyes, dark circles.
Eric, if I catch you actually drifting off and falling asleep, we're going to set off an alarm. Okay, so find some kind of alarm that'll jolt your back.
Oh, perfect! I got the perfect one.
Oh, okay, all right, fine. I also figured I'll. There you go.
Oh yeah, that will wake me
up. Also figured I'd poke at you more than usual. That'll keep you awake.
Have I ever fallen asleep on your show?
No, but you're getting close. you're in the neighborhood. I feel like somebody ought to bring you a pillow and tuck you in.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, see, there you go. All right, so now you have seen the video by now of 50,000 people, 60,000 people. This is one of those things you can't really estimate all that accurately that have stormed from Morocco over the border into Spain. And I bet that was confusing the first time you heard it. I mean, the video has been all over television. And it's because Spain, while the Mediterranean, the Strait of Gibraltar separates its country from Morocco, which is in northern Africa, they have 2 little enclaves. That's Spanish territory along the coast. It's part of the North African continent. It's, by land, it's part of Morocco. But there's actually these 2 little bits of Spain if you cross the sea. So it's really easy for Moroccans to storm the border. And you may wonder, why did suddenly 50, 60,000 people decide to do this at once? Well, there was a Spanish Supreme Court decision, and the decision was about migrants arriving by sea, by boat, that you couldn't deport them immediately. But it looks like a lot of the migrants misunderstood and thought this applied to those who arrive by land or climb over the border fence. And I bring this up because this brought to mind the storm of immigrants that we had here in this country during the Biden years, and it affected California. I mean, we had these kind of surges coming into California. They certainly had it the worst in Texas. I mean, you remember, like, they had 11,000 Haitians hiding under, I think, an overpass, and they would come across the Rio Grande River, and the whole story. But I just had flashbacks to that. Bill Malugin for Fox News, he covered that border for several years, and he was saying he had flashbacks looking at these videos. And this is why, because I'm afraid, it's been a couple of years since Trump shut the border down, and people forget just how effective this was, how important it was, how necessary it was, because otherwise we'd have what you saw between Morocco and Spain yesterday is the kind of chaos that would have continued here. And it's obviously overwhelmed a lot of our systems. And it's had a lot of domino effects. We had to get ICE on the case, and that caused a lot of controversy because there's no easy way to get these people out of the country. There's no way to afford them. I mean, we have blown. Now we're blowing like $13 billion a year on illegal alien health care. And it's just impossible. It's not sustainable. I don't want to hear any stuff. Well, what are these people supposed to do? They just want to work. It's like, yeah, but we can't afford it. We don't have the room in the schools. We don't have the housing for them. With Javier Becerra running now, we're hearing about how he lost hundreds of thousands of kids when he was running Health and Human Services. There's just reality that is so difficult to deal with, impossible to deal with, really. You of course, you're going to lose hundreds of thousands of kids, right? Of course, you're going to spend billions of dollars on healthcare. Of course, the schools will be overwhelmed. They had 200,000, I think, in New York City. You're going to end up with more homeless people. Everything about it is a mess. You have to have orderly migration. You can have immigration. It has to be 100% legal, has to be 100% orderly. Anything less, and you get what you're seeing in Spain. And it's like, in a way, I'm glad this happened. Because it's funny. Spain made it clear to these people that we're not putting up with this. And let me see, I think about 40,000 already went back home. That doesn't happen here. Until Trump came along, and when he closed the border and started sending ICE running around, people started self-deporting by the hundreds of thousands. It does work. The two countries are Ceuta and Melilla, and they're both cities, part of Spain in northern Morocco. They both have about 85,000 people, and they have a land border with Morocco. And there is fencing up, I guess, in some areas. But once this Supreme Court ruling came out and everybody misunderstood it, that's what caused the frenzy. Now, some people died because migrants started swimming and floating on tubes and breaking through a gate, and some of them drowned. Others were killed in a stampede. That is another thing, a stampede. So other European countries are suspending, because normally the EU has an open border. I think there's 32 EU nations, and you can cross, if you're a citizen of any one of the countries, you can cross unmolested into any of the other countries. You can live and work and move to, buy property in any of the countries. It's like, it's kind of like a version of the United States, but it's the Union of Europe. And but the other countries didn't want any part of this. They didn't want these people getting European Union rights. And so France was sealing its border with Spain. Italy said it was suspending the free movement and passport-free travel for flights from Spain, because they figured these Moroccans are going to end up finding a way to their countries. And because of the way the EU system is structured, Italy and France doesn't want to find out that they have to house these people and pay for these people. And it's almost entirely, to me, it looks like young men. So that's trouble. Any group of young men from any culture, they come in by the tens of thousands. You are going to have a lot of crime and a lot of disorder. All right, that's what young guys do, especially if they're not particularly skilled, not educated. A lot of these guys, I'm sure, are coming allegedly to work, but you get a lot of troublemakers. And you have to sort that out by having a legal immigration system. I mean, it's all so obvious, common sense, logical, but all that logic and common sense was suspended for 4 years with Biden. And, Trump was carrying on about it this morning, and he's absolutely right. I think 48,000 had crossed back voluntarily to Mexico. You know how many people died? 57. Mostly by drowning. I mean, it's just a completely crazy scene. But I didn't know, like, Spain had these little tiny towns, part of their property, on almost like on Moroccan property. You know who else has that is Russia. Russia has little pockets of Russian towns. Not inside, but bordering on some of the other Eastern European countries there. And they're usually Russian-speaking and Russian ethnicity. All right. Coming up after 3:30, I just found this. John Fleischman, who has a great political website called SoDoesItMatter.com, and he's a political commentator and analyst, and he put together a dictionary of woke terms that have been absorbed into everyday life, especially in newscasts. And I'm going to be on the alert now.
I try to catch things.
I'm going to go through all 10. And you're going to be on notice now. This is your official notice.
I need to pre-read anyway.
I don't know what's wrong with people who send you some of the stories and do the writing, but these because they're all ridiculous. You've heard them a lot, and we always make fun of these things. But John Fleischman put together a handy directory of ridiculous, politically correct, woke terms that just fog up the reality of these situations. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. Authorities in Arizona released ransom notes in the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. And a company in Carson has been sentenced, and 3 executives, I should say, have been sentenced for their role in a warehouse fire that led to months of foul odors along the Dominguez Channel. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour, going to the 5 next. Well, why don't I go ahead and then we'll come back to John. How's that? Southland weather from KFI. It's going to be hot again tomorrow, around 80 to the triple digits. This report brought to you by Allstate from your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center. We make it easy, slow on the 5 in San Clemente.
Downside, and it is sure loading up from the south end of town. You're on the brakes, getting away from El Camino Real as you travel all the way into Del Mar in San Diego. Now, the drive's also very tough along the 91. We're starting in Carson with eastbound slowing, leaving the 110 freeway. Delays in stretches all the way to Adams in Riverside. And it's also tough on the 215. This is a crash in Paris, northbound before Harley Knox. Right lane block, delays from Placentia Avenue. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
If you're looking to sell your home, you call Seller's Advantage. They'll make you a cash offer, no need for repairs. They buy your house as is for cash. They might offer a $10,000 advance to help you move. Go read their reviews online, and you call them. No obligation offer, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658, Providence Realty DRE number 01915212.
You ever wonder how far an EV can take you on one charge? Well, most people drive about 40 miles a day, which means you can do all daily stuff no problem. Go to work, grab the kids at school, get the groceries, and still have enough charge to visit your in-laws in the next county. But they don't need to know that. And the best part, you won't have to buy gas at all. The way forward is electric. Explore EVs that fit your life at electricforall.org.
Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This report is sponsored by Pro-Life Across America.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
GiveMeTheVIN.com. You can sell your car in a hot minute. You ought to try it. Enter your VIN number and get an offer really fast. GiveMeTheVIN.com. Their offers beat CarMax and Carvana every day. And if they can't, they'll pay you $100. But they will. GiveMeTheVIN.com. They'll get you your check on the spot. Super easy, super fast. GiveMeTheVIN.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear. Would you take 15 seconds to save 15% to freshen your breath? Go to Zellmans.com and use the code SAVE. That's ZELMINS.com. Use the code SAVE for fresh, clean breath for hours.
No required subscriptions, no trial periods, no surprise charges, no monthly fees. iHeartRadio is different. It's 100% free. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
It's your home equity. Shouldn't you be able to access it? Well, the bank said otherwise. When HELOC said no, Splatero said go. There's only a 500 minimum credit score and no income requirement. And you keep your existing mortgage rate. Visit Splatero.com today.
Have you been avoiding shorts or swimsuits because of painful varicose or embarrassing spider veins? Is that how you want to live? West Medical can help. Treatments may be covered by most PPO insurance plans, including Anthem Blue Cross, Aetna, Cigna, United Healthcare, and more. Don't ignore leg pain, swelling, or bulging veins. Call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL for your free consultation or visit westmedical.com today. Isn't it time to feel incredible?
Feel incredible. 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
A lot of apps like to say they're free until they ask for your credit card. iHeartRadio is different. No required subscriptions, no trial periods, no surprise charges. We make money from our advertisers, not from you. It's the same radio you've never paid for. Live radio stations, playlists, podcasts, and artist stations all in one app. So if you haven't already, download the free iHeartRadio app. Free radio. Always has been, always will be. Now wherever you go.
iHeartRadio.
AM 640, more stimulating talk.
Coming up on the next Gary and Shannon show.
John Adams had a great quote, and I think we're getting close to it come true. Here it is. Democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself.
That's kind of dark. The Gary and Shannon show starts Monday morning at 9.
$1,000 giveaway.
Now is your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Check. That's CHECK. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash.
KFI. Check. Enter that at KFIAM640.com/cash. If you win, you get an email. Check your junk and spam folder. That's not the prize, but they just notify you. Listen for the winning keyword every hour, every weekday. Starts at 9 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday, to 5 p.m. Next chance to win here with us, 420 on KFI. And coming up after Deborah's News at 5:30, we're going to go through John Fleischman's politically correct woke dictionary. 10 terms that have embedded themselves into government speak and, unfortunately, journalism, newscasts, radio newscasts, TV newscasts, and sometimes everyday speech. You end up hearing more and more people using the terms. And I want to mock that out of existence. That's my goal. Boy, you know, I'm dangerously close to being on Karen Bass's side when it comes to like I get a dirty look on this Lineage situation. The thing is, I don't trust her, obviously, and I don't trust the LA Times. I don't know who to trust. But let's, for the sake of argument here, because I got 5 minutes until it is, right? So let's use this as an intellectual exercise. Don't assume anything I say here, anything she says or the Times says is necessarily true.
Not you even?
Well, because right now these are my sources. That's the problem.
Okay.
I got no source to trust. But I have a feeling that this really may be what's going on. So Karen Bass issued an executive order. They're not going to be processing rebuilding permits for Lineage, which is the company that had that refrigeration warehouse, the 85 million pounds of rotting meat and other food from the fire. You know the story. It's now been 6 weeks. They're barely halfway through the cleanup process. Bass's team is claiming there have been almost 4,000 complaints about Lineage with the South Coast Air Quality Management District, which gives you an idea of this stink that just won't go away. Because you still, with all the work they've done, you have 40 to 45 million pounds of rotting food. And it never gets better. So the Air Quality Management District issued 19 violations to the company. And it turns out Lineage is not doing anything to help the residents. They're spending very little money to get them relocated. The city and the county are spending over $1.5 million for emergency housing, Airbnb and nonprofits. They have 1,300 residents that they've given a temporary shelter to. Hundreds of pets. I just feel bad for the pets.
I do too.
Because they didn't make this mess, right?
No.
These are stupid
And
humans.
they don't understand what's going on.
Yeah. Lineage, out of the $1.6 million, according to Bass, Lineage only provided $100,000 out of the $1.6 million. She said that's less than 7% of what we provided. Like, what is wrong with these bozos? And do the corporate executives always have to live up to the worst stereotypes about corporate executives? Do you have to be cold, heartless a-holes? Good Lord. I haven't had time to look up how much Lineage is worth, but I think that $1.5 million should have come from Lineage. Hilda Solis, who almost, as county supervisor, never does anything useful, always on the wrong side of every issue, always votes the wrong way. She went to the site and said she felt like she was in a war zone. And she wants to change some laws. But this is where the county should have been on this particular issue 6 weeks ago. Only now are they taking steps to expand access to landfills beyond the normal operating hours. They had closing times for landfills when there's 85 million pounds of dead, rotted meat to dispose of. I mean, how could you have a closing time for a landfill under these circumstances? So only now can Lineage remove the rotting meat around the clock. It took 6 weeks, and that's why I'm wary to say, oh, this is all Lineage's fault. It's like, how come that wasn't done on day one? No wonder there was such slow progress. After a month, they'd only removed 4% of the meat because Hilda Solis kept the closing time at the landfills the same as always. What's wrong with them? Like nobody thought. I'm sorry, landfill closes at 7 p.m. We can't allow it. What's wrong with you? You have 85 freaking million pounds of rotted meat, and the landfill is closed. Lineage is blaming a subcontractor, Altus Power. Altus Power was doing rooftop solar testing. It was solar panels. Altus said, no, it's not our fault. But we don't know whose fault it is. And they're saying Lineage is just, looking for a scapegoat. And, but there's no excuse for only putting in $100,000 to relocate the people. That's really awful. And there's no excuse for the county not to open the landfills 24 hours a day. God, 6 weeks? We have the dumbest people, not only running these companies, but also running all layers of government. Unbelievable. That's as close as I'll ever come to agreeing, Karen Bass, on anything. All right, we come back. John Fleischman's 10 politically correct woke phrases that he thinks should be permanently banned from conversation and journalism. I'll tell you about them when we come back. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Investigators in Arizona have released a second ransom note in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. The first note claimed the 84-year-old was safe and went on to ask for $4 million in Bitcoin. ABC's Alex Stone says there's another note from February 6th.
A Guthrie family, we did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to harm her. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now.
The note ends with an apology. We are truly sorry. Lawmakers in California want to help homeowners keep their insurance.
A new bill would require insurance companies to give 6 months' notice before dropping someone. Senate Bill 1301 would increase the notice period for non-renewals from 75 to 180 days. It would also require insurers to give clear reasons for dropping coverage and give the homeowner 90 days to fix any issues. Right now, consumers typically get vague non-renewal notices with no clear path to remediation. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
A company in Carson and 3 executives have been placed on 2 years probation for their role in the warehouse fire back in 2021 that led to months of foul odors along the Dominguez Channel. Prosecutors say the company, Virgin Scent, improperly stored large amounts of alcohol-based hand sanitizer, then illegally pumped the remaining chemicals into a storm drain after the fire. Tech companies are funding politics in California.
Campaign finance data from the California Secretary of State's office says dozens of Silicon Valley executives and some investors dumped about $195 million in state elections over the past year or so. Google co-founder Sergey Brin has donated the most to the tune of nearly $90 million, and the top 5 donors gave more this past year than they ever have. Most of the money from Silicon Valley has been given to Building a Better California, which is a group that was recently formed to fight the proposed billionaires tax. Jason Campadonia, KFI News.
The Prime Minister of Spain is blaming human trafficking gangs for the roughly 60,000 migrants from Morocco who rushed a border fence and poured into the Spanish territory of Ceuta. That's about 70% of the population of the city in northern Africa. The sudden arrival of so many migrants yesterday triggered chaos and a humanitarian crisis.
Why is this happening now? Well, it could be for a few reasons. Only a few weeks ago, Spain's Supreme Court ruled that those who reach the area by sea cannot be immediately returned without due process.
ABC's James Longman says Spain deployed its armed forces and additional police to restore order. Security forces on the Moroccan side of the border also clashed with migrants. And you may be paying more to register your vehicle than you have to, and the DMV is apparently okay with that.
People have been registering through a third-party website called needtags.com. It is authorized by the DMV to sell DMV services. The company bought Google ads that took it to the top of the Google search results seeking DMV car registration. And since the ads were above the real DMV site, hundreds of people thought what they clicked on was the actual DMV. The site can tack on unlimited extra fees, with the real DMV getting a cut of the profits. Hundreds have filed complaints. Some lawmakers have tried to limit the fees, but their efforts have so far failed in the state legislature. Amy King, KFI News.
Southline weather from KFI. It's going to be sunny and hot again tomorrow. Mid-80s to mid-90s for Metro LA. Upper 90s to the triple digits in the valleys, the high desert and the IE. Windy again in the high desert and the IE. Around 80 for the beaches, 90 inland OC. Right now, it is 88 in Laguna Woods and 93 in Rancho Santa Margarita. Crash on the 60 in Industry.
This one's along the westbound side coming up on 7th Avenue. That's where the 3 right lanes were blocked, and a big rig's involved in this wreck with a backup away from Hacienda Boulevard and building. That eastbound side of the 60, that's going to be pretty slow moving as well. We're seeing delays that are pushing back away from the 710 freeway. Now, the drive along the 10 eastbound slows out of City Terrace. From City Terrace Drive, delays and stretches all the way to Azusa and Pasadena. 210 eastbound slowing from the 134, looking better beyond Citrus. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, you need attorneys that listen, care, and stand up for you. And that's why you call the attorneys at Sweet James. They have the reputation that puts power and respect on your side so you can focus on recovering. If you're hurt in a crash, call Sweet James. They have an office in Los Angeles. 1-800-9-MILLION or go to sweetjames.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-MILLION. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorneys.
With Norwegian Cruise Line, you don't have to choose whale watching and spa days, family time, and time for yourself. Book your Mexican Riviera cruise sailing from LA or San Diego. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE.
Hey, it's Conway here for Cars for Kids. We've donated 2 vehicles to Cars for Kids, and man, was it easy. Cars for Kids has been around for 30 years, and they know what they're doing. I recently saw firsthand one of their summer programs going on right now where they have over 1,400 kids. I saw hundreds of kids in the camp, and they couldn't thank Cars for Kids enough for making this incredible opportunity possible. So when you donate a car, you're helping real kids thrive this summer. CarsForKids.org. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS, Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K.
Getting you back to your life pursuit. Hoag Orthopedic Institute. Call 1-800-919-2000.
Take action for your retirement. Call Golden Crest Metals, 888-447-7857.
I'm not great with words after a fight, and I'm sorry wasn't cutting it this time. So I used Smile Tunes to write a soulful ballad about how she's always right. By the second chorus, the silent treatment was officially over. Visit smiletunes.com and get out of the doghouse today.
Curious how you would look? PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com. PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com. If you run a business, you've probably heard plenty of AI promises. But here's one thing we know for sure. When consumers hear an ad for your business, 90% want to know it's a real person talking. And that's what you'll get when you advertise with iHeart. We're guaranteed human. That means real voices, real connection, and trusted audio that helps businesses drive results. Learn how easy it is to tell your story through our voices today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
I'm Nick Turturro. You probably know me from NYPD Blue, The Longest Yard, or Spike Lee's Black Klansman. And on my new podcast, Delivering Happiness with Nick Turturro, I deliver pizza to a new guest. I've shared a slice with everyone, from Seth Rollins. What are you doing, my belt? To Bill Burr.
I don't think I've ever met somebody so exactly out of their mind.
We even have more great guests coming up, including John Turturro.
It's called happiness.
Delivering Happiness. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Delivering Happiness with Nick Turturro, and listen now.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Experience, reputation, and trust matter. If you've been injured, OPOLaw.com.
Tap into Happy Hour with half-price pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. John Kobylt Show. And we are on from 3 to 6. And after 6 o'clock, if you missed anything, you should be ashamed of yourself. You can listen to the podcast, though. John Kobylt Show on demand. You can do that anytime, tonight, this weekend. And we're on YouTube live. And we're also live on X, so you can watch us on video all afternoon. We even have a chat thing on the YouTube page, so do that. John Fleischman, he writes, he's been a Republican analyst, consultant, political guy, and he has a website called SoDoesItMatter.com, and actually writes commentary, sometimes several times a day. It's good stuff. He's on our show often. And I really enjoyed today's posting because it was a dictionary of all those irritating, progressive, woke phrases that were forced on us over the last 10 years, really accelerating in 2020. And it's one thing if these woke holes want to talk to each other this way, but it infested journalism. And so you see every TV anchor, radio anchor, reporters, writers, they all use these phrases that 5 minutes ago you never heard of. Some of them you don't know exactly what they mean. All of them are supposed to, I think the word is obfuscate the truth, confuse the truth, fog it up. Because if you say things bluntly, you realize that what they're talking about, what they want to change, their new policy, if you describe it in blunt terms, you realize what a stupid idea it is. So they come up with all these confusing phrases, and you'll recognize all these. First one is, do we say criminal or do we say justice-involved individual? Now, has that seeped into any newscasts?
It has not.
Oh, you've kept the, have you seen it?
I have not.
It's like he writes, it's justice involved sounds like somebody accidentally wandered into a courthouse. And he says this euphemism blurs the distinction between being arrested, charged, and convicted, and shifts the suspicion from the conduct to the justice system. Justice involved said, oh, well, what did they do to him? Instead of saying, hey, he's a convict. He's an ex-con. He's been charged. along those lines. Number 2, you call him a prisoner or an incarcerated person?
A prisoner.
Very good. Incarcerated person, he says, adds syllables without adding information. It pushes the imprisonment into the background, right? Incarcerated person, now you don't think of, oh, that's a guy who committed a really nasty crime. You go to a state prison, you've done something very bad. Instead, it sounds like something's been done to the criminal. Oh, he's an incarcerated person. Oh, who did that to him? No. It's what he did to somebody else. Number 3, well, we know this one. Undocumented immigrant versus illegal alien. Undocumented says, oh, you didn't fill out your paperwork. You didn't get the form. It's like, no.
We are not supposed to say illegal alien in our newscast. At least we weren't. I don't know if that's changed.
Yeah, there was a regime here that went for a lot of these. And in fact, at some point, somebody told me I shouldn't use the phrase illegal alien. And I said, well, that's the federal government term that they use in federal law. So go take it up with Congress.
I just say illegal immigrant.
That's the compromise one. But you know what? At least it emphasizes illegal, which is the most important thing. Undocumented does not indicate that somebody's illegal. Oh, this one. I haven't heard this too much, but a little bit. Housing challenged instead of homeless.
I don't use it. It may have been written here.
It's
but I'm not
probably
sure.
in sound bites you've played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The term I hear is unhoused.
Unhoused. Yes. That is really taken over to some extent. And people aren't unhoused. Actually, they're not even homeless. They're vagrants. Okay. They're vagrants. They're wandering around. And that's why I was describing them as vagrants, mental patients, or drug addicts, because that's what they are. And not using that terminology just doesn't bring home what we're dealing with here. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Equity versus equality.
No.
Equality means we all have the same rights. We all have to live by the same standards. Equity, and this is really important, seeks predetermined outcomes. In other words, we're all entitled to a certain reward. We're all entitled to be in a university, a top-tier university. Even though we have terrible grades, we have lousy SAT scores, we're a disruptive force. We're basically idiots and knuckleheads. Oh, but I have to have equity. I deserve a seat. Well, no, you don't deserve a seat. Number 6, affordable housing versus low-income housing.
We've used both.
Yes. Well, this is how affordable housing fogs up the truth. Because it's actually subsidized projects, below market units, rent restrictions, income restricted units. What it doesn't tell you is this is housing that costs the taxpayers money. It's fine to have these programs, but we should know, as Fleischman writes, who qualifies, who pays, that's us, what's being built here. Subsidized housing, oh, okay, we're paying money. Affordable housing that's nebulous, that's murky. And it's used on purpose to hide the fact that these people aren't paying the market rate for their housing. We are, or at least part of it. Healthcare access versus medical care. And he writes, access is not care. Just because you have an insurance card doesn't guarantee a doctor is available or you're going to get a timely appointment. And he says politicians use the word access because it measures government activity. Well, everybody has access. Well, do they all get care? That's the difference. This one makes me crazy. Number 8, food insecurity.
I don't use that one.
This one, I hear this, though, in sound clips, and I've heard other people here use it.
It may have slipped in one time, but I don't, because I don't speak that way.
No, I know. It's not a natural way of speaking. None of these phrases do you encounter in real life unless you're with a bunch of ultra woke whack jobs. Hunger is hunger. Food insecurity, I don't know what that is. I don't see people going hungry. I see the opposite out there. I see people who need to go hungry
John.
for extended periods. Well, I mean, something over half the country's obese. But I don't. And besides that, we have tons of food programs that we're spending billions for. So even if you are out on the street and you're unhoused, there are plenty of places to get food. There's just no excuse for this. And nobody walks around saying, I feel food insecure today. That's like, well, I'm going to go in and out then. An old one, reproductive rights versus abortion rights. Abortion is such a harsh sounding word and creates such a harsh visual image. So people came up with reproductive rights. But boy, that really neuters what's going on here. You need to have an honest discussion and use the blunt terms. So it's reminded, what are we talking about here?
I've used both.
Yeah. Well, because we're not talking about pills that you take. We're talking about the act of an abortion. And this one came in recent years, when they stopped calling sex change procedures and came up with gender affirming care.
I don't use that.
Yeah, and that's what they pushed on parents with when your kids were getting, well, if you have an alleged trans kid, you get hormone blockers or hormones or irreversible surgery. Well, that's all gender affirming care. Well, maybe it is, or maybe it's mutilation. Maybe you're completely ruining their natural endocrine system, their hormones. All those phrases should be banned, should not be used by alleged journalists. So John Fleischman did a good job there. More coming up. Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. Residents and community groups held a rally in Boyle Heights demanding that Lineage pack up and leave, and LA Mayor Bass announced the strongest fundraising haul of her re-election campaign. We'll have more at the top of the hour. We're going to go back to the 5 next.
When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. You have a handshake, they get a commission, and they're done, they're out. And you may not hear from them again until maybe it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year. Now you're stuck with this policy. You don't even know what's in it. So you have to deal with the gaps all year, the risk. Super Sure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, the CFO, or the HR manager, the whole thing can be too complicated just to buy a policy online. Super Sure is the super agency built for you. It's licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts, which translates your current policy into plain English, so you can see what's covered and what's not. Then there's a business value calculator, so you can estimate what your business is worth, so you know exactly what needs protecting. Go to supersure.com, which is one super agency and one powerful platform, and all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com, supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. We have an update on the crash on the 5 in Downey.
Excellent news on that 5 northbound coming up on Paramount. All lanes have reopened after this wreck is cleared, but traffic's still pretty tough out of Norwalk getting away from Carmenita. The southbound side of the 5, that's loading up as well. Overall, getting out of Burbank from Alameda. Delays all the way back towards the 605 freeway. It's pretty tough right now on the 91. This is eastbound leaving Carson from Avalon. Delays all the way to Adams in Riverside. And it's tough into the Cajon Pass. 15 northbound loads up at the 210 freeway all the way to the 138. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by iHeartAdvertising.com.
Ahmed Rosario and Spencer Jones both homered, and that was enough for the Yankees. They shut out the Cubs today at Wrigley 2-0. Tony Romo placed on indefinite leave by CBS from his job as the network's top NFL analyst. He signed a 10-year, $180 million contract in 2020. J.J. Watt teams with Jim Nantz for now. The Spurs' Victor Wembanyama has extended his contract with Nike. The new deal includes a signature sneaker. I'm Frank Aaron.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen Kay is a new iHeart podcast. Real-life drama with real-life consequences and advice that might just save the day. Hear it now on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you been avoiding shorts or swimsuits because of painful varicose or embarrassing spider veins? Is that how you want to live? West Medical can help. Treatments may be covered by most PPO insurance plans, including Anthem Blue Cross, Aetna, Cigna, United Healthcare, and more. Don't ignore leg pain, swelling, or bulging veins. Call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL for your free consultation or visit westmedical.com today. Isn't it time to feel incredible?
Feel incredible. Because I call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
Want up to $25,000 in free silver? When you make a qualifying purchase through Golden Crest Metals, you can receive up to $25,000 in real silver added to your account. Call 888-447-7857 now for your free information kit. That's 888-447-7857. Again, call 888-447-7857. Not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk. Free silver offers a 10% bonus in silver on qualifying purchases of premium minted coins. $10,000 minimum purchase required. Bonus silver capped to $25,000 and credited to customer account. See goldencrestmetals.com for full terms.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Conway Show today after 6 p.m. A woman went to work out in North Hollywood like she does every day, walking home, and she gets sexually assaulted. They're looking for this guy. We will give you more details, but if you live in North Hollywood, be aware of this. All the details today after 6 on The Conway Show.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show, coming up after 4 o'clock in just a few minutes after Deborah's news. We're going to have Hayes Davenport on. He's with a new news site called LAMaterial.com. We talked about this a few days ago. He did the story, and it's about this private security company, if you want to call it that, called Ghost Town. And the employees are largely gang members. Gang members who've left the business, or at least that's what they're all claiming. But they've had quite an effect in Venice because the gang members seem to have special abilities to get the homeless people to get out. They're very persuasive. Ghost Town. And there's about 200 clients, 200 homeowners in the neighborhood who pay the company. And they're very happy with the results because Ghost Town does what the police department and the city refuses to do. And that's actually get the homeless people out of the neighborhoods. All right. So Hayes Davenport comes on and he wrote the piece and that'll be in just a few minutes. We talked a little bit ago about the unhoused. The unhoused brings disease. According to the LA County Department of Public Health, now they're not blaming the unhoused. I am. You'll see why. It looks like we've got a typhus outbreak here in Los Angeles. Now the typhus comes from fleas. The fleas come from the rats. The rats, of course, show up at encampments because there's a lot of food and garbage that the rats eat. And I'm waiting for the typhus outbreak in Boyle Heights, because this is like one of the all-time greatest rat conventions in U.S. history, as they feed on the 85 million pounds of rotted food. They have found 5 typhus cases in L.A. County. All cases had to go to the hospital, and it's in the Pico Union neighborhood. And the outbreak, I mean, these can be really severe. In 2025, there were 220 cases. That's up from 187 in 2024. So there are more cases of typhus than ever. There are 5 of them in this neighborhood in Pico Union. And it's rats. Now, the health department is not linking it to the homeless people, but that's where you find the rats. You find the rats when there's a lot of garbage food lying around, which is what you get in the encampments, and it's what you get in Boyle Heights these days. It's a vomiting illness. Once you get typhus, within 1 or 2 weeks, you get fever, headache, rash, body aches. You need antibiotics, and you could end up vomiting a lot. It's the bacteria is Rickettsia typhi bacteria. It comes with when fleas jump on you and poop. Flea feces.
Have you ever gotten a flea bite?
Not that I know of.
Oh, I have.
You
many
have?
times. Yes, my dogs. I mean,
Oh,
right now I give them flea medication, but in the past, absolutely.
well, the fleas could have pooped on you.
I'm sure they did numerous times.
And if you have a cut in your skin or you rub your eyes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And then you got typhus.
Well, I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah. Did you feel the fleas on you?
Yes. No, they're so tiny, but I've seen them in the past. It's been a long time, but
yeah.
I've
They
actually
jump in
seen.
your hair?
Yeah, they jump off. I see them jumping off my dog, and I'd grab them and I would drown them. I mean, this is in between. I grab it in between my fingers, and then I either put it in the toilet.
You grab the fleas?
Yes. What am I going to do? Yes,
you
I
drown
have
them.
Yes,
That's kind of cruel.
It is. Please don't send me any emails.
You drown the fleas. Well, because you're always so kind to all animals. You
I
get
know.
very upset
But
when other
fleas,
creatures
but
get.
fleas, yeah. And I actually will
that's
turn the faucet on and I'll put the flea
Really?
over there. And then
And you watch them screaming for help as they
I don't
go
hear
under?
anything, actually.
Help me.
You mean vegan?
Yeah, see, that's
You hypocritical.
that's the nasty side. That's right. You don't want a cow killed for
No, I
a
don't.
cheeseburger,
But
but a
fleas,
flea getting cruelly drowned.
Yes, I admit I don't like fleas.
with your bare hands. What do you choke them and then you?
Yes,
Wow.
I have.
I think you know somebody.
I really don't.
Ghost Town. We'll talk about this. It's all the rage in Venice. Hundreds of people love Ghost Town. It's a security company made up of former gang members who make the homeless go away. We'll talk with Hayes Davenport. He wrote a piece for LAMaterial.com, and we'll discuss this with him next. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI. KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
Boyle Heights rally. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Residents and community groups held a rally in Boyle Heights this morning, demanding Lineage Logistics pack up and leave after last month's warehouse fire left nearby residents dealing with foul odors and pests. Earlier in the day, LA Mayor Bass ordered city departments to stop processing the company's rebuilding plans until the cleanup is complete and the site undergoes a full review. Bass says she's also making a request to the city council.
Under the leadership of my colleague, Councilmember Gerardo, to push an ordinance that puts in place a moratorium on the building of future large cold storage facilities near residents or sensitive areas.
Lineage says it's working around the clock to remove rotting food, control odors and pests, and clean up the site as quickly and safely as possible. LA Mayor Bass announced the strongest fundraising haul of her re-election campaign.
Mayor Bass may often be described with the word embattled these days because of issues including the LA wildfires, but she's just announced the strongest fundraising month of her campaign for re-election. She says she raised $511,687 in June from hundreds of donors throughout LA, plus $675,368 in public matching funds. In a statement, Bass said it shows Angelenos understand the stakes of this election and are fully invested in winning this race in November. Bass is said to have a massive financial advantage over fellow Democratic City Council member Nithya Raman, who she'll face in the runoff. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
California's minimum wage will be increasing to $17.40 an hour.
Governor Gavin Newsom says the annual inflation adjustment will kick in on January 1st, 2027. The increase is automatic under California law. This will be the highest statewide minimum wage in the nation. It will also be nearly 2.5 times the federal minimum wage of $7.25 per hour, which hasn't changed since 2009. The statewide minimum wage was $12 an hour when Newsom took office in 2019. Daniel Martindale, KFI News.
The pilot of an F-35 fighter from the Marine Corps Miramar Air Base in San Diego is safe after ejecting before the aircraft crashed during a training mission. Base officials say that the jet went down in an open field where firefighters quickly responded. The cause of the crash is under investigation. The pilot's condition hasn't been released. President Trump says a deal has been reached for Hamas to disarm and for Israel to withdraw its forces from Gaza. A Hamas official also said they have reached an agreement on disarmament, but journalist Blake Sifton says that could pose a political challenge for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
His defense minister, Israel Katz, has repeatedly vowed that Israel will remain in Gaza permanently, and his far-right coalition partners are against any withdrawal, against any limits on strikes. They want Gaza to be resettled, and they want the focus to be on destroying Hamas.
The agreement was negotiated over months of talks in Egypt. Spain has called in military reinforcements following a surge of about 60,000 migrants, mostly young men.
The migrants crossed the border of Morocco into a tiny Spanish territory on the northern tip of Morocco, one of Spain's 2 territories on the African continent. The migrants were reportedly attempting to flee into Europe after Spain recently launched a program to provide legal status for some 500,000 undocumented migrants. Mark Mayfield, KFI News.
At least 40 people were killed in that chaos yesterday. And there's a preponderance of potty mouths in politics.
Senator Bernie Moreno rhetorically asked Dr. Anthony Fauci, who the do you think you were during a congressional hearing this week? President Woodrow Wilson broke the political profanity seal in 1919, saying he had once made a conspicuous ass of himself. New research says 87% of swear words by politicians since then have happened in the last 10 years, and 78% have come from President Trump and President Biden. Biden's cursing relied heavily on dick, with a sprinkle of dick. President Trump mixed the flowery language up a bit, saying just this week, the U.S. will beat the shit out of Iran while also introducing big bull and open the straight, you crazy bastards. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
Wowza. We're going to go to the 5 next.
Lasting Smiles dental implants. If you have a mouthful of rotted, decayed teeth, some of them are already fell out. Nobody wants to look at that. And they talk about you behind your back. You know that. So why don't you get a beautiful smile? Completely change the way you come across. Go to Lasting Smiles. They have a summer smile special. You get a free comprehensive dental exam, full 3D imaging, a custom treatment plan, and the payments are as low as $149 a month on approved credit. And you can do that. Mention KFI, mention John, and you get the summer smile special at Lasting Smiles. Call 844-GO-SMILE, 844-GO-SMILE, 844-GO-SMILE.
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and hot again tomorrow. Highs mid-80s to mid-90s. Metro LA, upper 90s to the triple digits in the valleys, the high desert and the IE. Windy again in the high desert and the IE. 80 at the beaches, 90 inland OC. Right now, 86 in Tustin, 72 Laguna Beach, 99 in Chatsworth. It's 94 in Van Nuys. The KFI financial update brought to you by Supersure. Supersure.com, one super agency, one powerful platform. All your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed up 277. S&P 500 up 52 and NASDAQ up 252. Stall on the 5 in commerce.
On the southbound side, coming up on the Bandini off-ramp, that's where they've just cleared the stall out of lanes. Great news. But now let's look at that South 5. It's going to be a tough ride all the way out of Burbank, leaving Alameda beyond the scene of that stall. The drive remains slow all the way to the 605. And northbound delays backing up out of La Mirada from Valley View. You're on and off the brakes all the way to the 2. More slowing ahead in Sun Valley on that 5 northbound from about Sheldon as you continue ahead towards the 14 freeway. Let's also take a look at the drive along the 101. This is southbound getting out of Calabasas. Delays from Lost Hills in stretches to the 170, 134 split. Solid ahead in Hollywood from Sunset Boulevard into downtown Los Angeles. I'm looking at the drive in Rubidoux, the eastbound side of the 60. That becomes very heavy from Rubidoux Boulevard. Delays in stretches all the way to World Logistics Center Parkway with Southern California's most accurate traffic reports.
All right, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6. This is a well-oiled machine today. After 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. And that's the podcast, same as the radio show. You listen to what you missed. We're live on YouTube. Come watch us. We're live on X as well. Go to youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. Subscribe, become a member. We're looking now for 10,000 subscribers, 1,500 to go. So if you haven't done it, do it. And then you'll be officially part of the family. Let's just having
It's Friday.
A technical meltdown here. Let's talk now with Hayes Davenport. Hayes Davenport. Hayes Davenport is a writer for LAMaterial.com, which is a very new media outlet. They've had some really good articles. And this one that Hayes wrote was about something I hadn't heard of. And it's a organization, a company, really, a private company called Ghost Town. And Ghost Town, most of its employees appear to be former gang members. And what they do is they very convincingly persuade homeless people to get out of the neighborhood. And a lot of people in Venice have hired them, about 200 clients now. And these are OGs, original gangsters. And they have gotten a lot of encampments to disappear. And a lot of vagrants have moved on. And people are happy in those neighborhoods. Let's talk to Hayes Davenport because the city and the police department has failed these residents. Hayes, how are you?
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
Where'd you hear about this Ghost Town?
Yeah, so I mean, I, like you, had not heard of this company before. I don't live in Venice, but we heard about it from a Venice resident who told us that this company was really the talk of the neighborhood. And I went out there. I spent like 5 or 6 full days reporting the story, talking to everyone I could in Venice, and they really are a very well-known brand. In part because they have these signs, these kind of like striking midnight blue and white signs that are just all over the neighborhood. Like you see ADT and the other big security firm signs on people's lawns, but like Ghost Town is really ubiquitous. And that part of it was this rumor that it was former gang members that were at least partially staffing this company, which I did confirm was true. I talked to one of the co-founders of the company. He's a Venice lifer himself. He says his family's been here in the Oakwood area for about 100 years. His name's Bobby Luna, and he's proud of those hires. He says that they always make sure that like people are not involved in gang activity anymore, but if they've gotten out of prison, they're trying to do something different with their lives. He says he's happy to bring them on and give them work.
And the residents obviously frustrated with the way the city and police respond, because this has been going on for so many years, 10 years or more in a lot of neighborhoods.
Yeah, I mean, in Venice, we're talking about decades, right? Like this has been one of the historic epicenters of homelessness in LA. And, you know, the neighborhood has obviously changed a lot. The property values are getting higher. And I did hear over and over again from people that they had called on Ghost Town because they did feel like, whether it was police, I talked to one woman who said that, you know, she'd had multiple people trespass on her property. Police didn't show up for an hour and a half. Ghost Town shows up in 5 minutes. Or, you know, any other level of the city response. They were looking for alternatives. The nature of like what Ghost Town provides, you know, they say they're not a security firm. They don't have what's called a guard card, the state certification to do actual security. What they do is just negotiate with people at encampments on behalf of the property owner, and sometimes they'll pay them to move. I talked to one person that had been offered $200 to move their RV. But what I also heard from people at encampment, I talked to like dozens of people on the streets in Venice, and they said that Ghost Town has a reputation for using more aggressive tactics like intimidation and, in a couple cases, physical force. I talked to one person who said that they had, you know, quote, manhandled him and moving him out of a grocery store. But Ghost Town denies all of those allegations. They say that they don't use anything like that in their methods.
I mean, are these like stereotypical gang guys? They're big, burly. They can seem menacing. Have you seen any of these people? I mean, sometimes physical presence is enough to intimidate you to move on.
Yeah, it's interesting that I saw a couple of them. I didn't necessarily strike. I mean, you know, I didn't have extended interactions with anyone except the owner, who, you know, but the way he talks about their approach is that because almost all of his staff come from Venice, and some of them have had experiences living on the street, they say they understand the people that they're talking to, and in a lot of cases know them personally. Some of these are people that they like grew up with. And for example, I talked to a homeowner who said that one of his neighbors had his garage tagged, and Ghost Town recognized the graffitier who had done the tag. And so they were able to contact that person directly and say, hey, don't hit this neighborhood anymore. Like, this is, you know, like, these are our clients. So it's that kind of direct connection to the community that they say is kind of their secret sauce.
And so after they have these conversations, they've had good success in getting these people to move on. And do we know where they move on to?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is kind of the interesting aspect of Ghost Town is like they're representing their clients. And, you know, what they say is they don't tell anyone where to go. They're trying to handle the immediate area around their client's property. And sometimes the way that ends up is people moving, you know, not a super far distance away, staying within Venice. I was at one encampment next to the Staples on Lincoln that had been moved by Ghost Town from behind a 7-Eleven across the street. So they moved about 300, 500 feet. The neighbors on the 7-Eleven side are very pleased with the results, right? Like whatever the noise they were dealing with, whatever, that situation has been addressed. But in terms of like the overall effect on the neighborhood, there is some dimension of like people just being sort of moved around. And I think Ghost Town would say, like, we're here to represent our clients and like come up with a better situation for them. And it's on the city to address the bigger issue in the neighborhood.
Has the city responded to this new situation with Ghost Town doing really what the city should have been doing for the last 10 years plus?
Well, Ghost Town says that, you know, that naturally they interact with the city. They deal with, they end up at the same encampments as police officers. There's a really long video that someone posted online of Ghost Town working at an encampment after a sanitation cleanup. So sanitation does the cleanup, and then Ghost Town kind of makes sure that people don't come back to that location. So there is overlap. Like they come in contact with each other, but nothing like no official collaboration so far.
Can you hang on the line? Talk some more?
Sure.
I got to do the news. We have Hayes Davenport here. He writes for lamaterial.com. It's about Ghost Town, which is a private agency, not technically a security company. They don't have a security license, but made up largely of former gang members who are convincing one way or the other of getting a lot of the street homeless in Venice to move on, move out. Because the city and LAPD have utterly failed the people of Venice for so long. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. Long Beach is planning to cut hundreds of jobs, and we have beach warnings for this weekend. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. We're going to go to the 60 next.
Give me the VIN.com. That's where you can sell your car in a hot minute. You ought to try it. Enter your VIN number. Get an offer fast. Give me the VIN.com. Their offers beat CarMax and Carvana every day. If they can't, they'll pay you $100. GiveMeTheVin.com will get you your check on the spot. Super easy, super fast. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
From your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Stall on the 60 in Diamond Bar.
This one's along the eastbound side, just past Grand Avenue. Big rig stuck in the two right lanes. That drive is loading up, getting away from Nogales. We're also looking at the drive in Linwood, 105 eastbound, right at the 710. It's a crash. The right lane is blocked, and that drive is loading up, getting away from Long Beach Boulevard. Another wreck, this one in Corona, 91 eastbound before Green River, taking out that right lane. The drive overall slowing out of Anaheim from Kramer-Glassell. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
I'm not great with words after a fight, and I'm sorry wasn't cutting it this time. So I used Smile Tunes to write a soulful ballad about how she's always right. By the second chorus, the silent treatment was officially over. Visit smiletunes.com and get out of the doghouse today.
This is Sarah Spain with the latest from iHeart Women's Sports.
Presented by iHeartAdvertising.com.
The WNBA trade deadline is looming. Teams have until Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern to decide whether or not they want to make a move. The trade deadline often delivers little drama, but lots of one-year deals signed after the new CBA was ratified, combined with several new roster construction tools in that CBA, could make this year's deadline a major season-shifting event. For more women's sports stories, subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcasts.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Silver is no longer just a commodity, it's a strategic resource. Demand is up, supply is tight. Experts accept prices to soar. Visit LearCapital.com for your free silver report. LearCapital.com, LearCapital.com.
This is CEOs You Should Know with Division President of iHeartMedia, Paul Corvino.
I'm happy to be here with Stephen Colvin, the CEO of Trusted Media Brands, digital media entertainment company behind Reader's Digest, Taste of Home, Fail Amy, The Pet Collective. What's the biggest challenge in taking iconic brands from old world traditional media into the digital world and getting a newer, younger audience too?
Well, I think one has to do it methodically and not kind of just dash and think it's kind of a textbook process. One has to think about what's the core DNA of the brand. We just launched an interview called the Escalator Interview, and it's basically the interview has to be finished by the time they get to the top of the escalator. So it's fast questions. We launched that about 3 months ago. Hugely successful because it's fun, it's on brand for Reader's Digest, and it's informative.
Listen to CEOs You Should Know on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
It's your home equity. Shouldn't you be able to access it?
Well, the bank said otherwise.
When HELOC said no, Splatero said go. There's only a 500 minimum credit score and no income requirement. And you keep your existing mortgage rate. Visit Splatero.com today.
Tap into Happy Hour with half-priced pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
Lose the weight. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
A lot of apps like to say they're free until they ask for your credit card. iHeartRadio is different. No required subscriptions, no trial periods, no surprise charges. We make money from our advertisers, not from you. It's the same radio you've never paid for. Live radio stations, playlists, podcasts, and artist stations all in one app. So if you haven't already, download the free iHeartRadio app. Free radio. Always has been, always will be. Now wherever you go.
iHeartRadio.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
On the next Bill Handel show, the rising number of uninsured patients is starting to hit hospitals big time. Another episode of You're Gonna Die Next Week. That's coming up after 7 Monday morning on the next Bill Handel show.
$1,000 giveaway here.
Now is your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bank. That's BANK. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash.
KFI. Bank. Enter it at KFIAM640.com/cash. If you win, you get an email. Check the junk and spam folder too. And there's a winning keyword every hour, every weekday. Starts at 9 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. Next chance to win with us, 5:20 at KFI. We continue here on the John Kobylt Show with more with Hayes Davenport. He writes for lamaterial.com. Again, it's a good news site covering Los Angeles and online. And Hayes is talking about a story he did, very, very long story, about this company called Ghost Town, which is made up of a lot of former gang members who convince homeless people in the Venice neighborhoods to move on, to get out. The residents are fed up and disgusted, having spent many, many years with the city and the police doing nothing. And finally, they're getting some action. So they got 200 people who signed up for this service. Hayes, is there any reaction from the city or the police department? I mean, it should be embarrassing to them that this, I mean, they don't seem to be a violent group. It's not exactly a vigilante group, but it's kind of in a gray area here where you have a private group successfully convincing homeless people to get out of the neighborhood, which is what the neighborhood wants. Is there any embarrassment that it's come to this?
I mean, I did get comments from the local council member's office who just, they know that Ghost Town provides a valued service to a lot of people in the neighborhood. I didn't get comment back from LAPD when I asked about their working relationship with Ghost Town. But I mean, to what you're saying, I did hear a lot of that sense of, honestly, the people I talked to on and off the street feeling a sort of a sense of abandonment from the traditional approach. And I think some of that is kind of unique to Venice. I talked to people who had lived in the neighborhood for a really long time. And remember, this was a neighborhood that was approved for demolishing about half of it within the lifetime of some of the people that have lived there. And they've watched it change like really dramatically. But I think there is a sense that's kind of specific to Venice that they don't have the same relationship to the city that other neighborhoods do. They were annexed in 1920, started as an amusement park resort, basically. Mm-hmm. And that Venice, Venice is different. We all know this. And I think
it used to be different in a kind of a counterculture, amusing way. But right. This modern era of desperate homelessness, I'm amazed people have put up with this as long as they have, and maybe this is a sign that they're not going to anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question now is, because of the nature of how this company works, people are, like the encampments are moving, and people are being moved into other parts of the neighborhood. So they're moving away from one household, but they're moving closer to others. And so, maybe that house takes on Ghost Town now and they move them to a different part of the neighborhood. But at some point, either they have total neighborhood coverage or people start, I think, like questioning, like, where does this solution end? Like, what's the end result of this? And at some point, the city is the entity that can get people off the street entirely one way or another. And so, they're always going to be a factor in the process.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've talked to plenty of people. People are fed up with hearing a police officer tell them, my hands are tied. That is the single worst phrase anybody wants to hear when you have an active encampment in your neighborhood. My hands are tied. Well, what is it you people do for a living now then?
Yeah, I heard it over and over again from residents. That phrase specifically has really just become just kind of a cliche, really, for this aspect of the city's response.
And it's saying that the police seem to be saying, "Hey, we do something, but the mayor and the city council won't let us, so we're stuck, and you're stuck."
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get comment from them specifically. You hear different things for different kinds of situations, but another thing that the police department of the city, at least so far, haven't explored is paying people money to move to a different neighborhood. I don't know. I mean, like, you can see in this situation how showing up as a private entity offers like some flexibility that the city doesn't have.
Yeah, well, it's not like the city doesn't have the money to do that, though. I mean, they've gotten billions of dollars.
Absolutely. But the city's not going to say, hey, just move down the block, because that's part of their territory too. And now they have to deal with the constituents who are down there. Everyone is their client. You know what I mean? So it's all really complicated. I mean, like you said, the article's really long and it has a lot of new dimensions.
It's fascinating though.
Yeah, it was really, really fascinating to report, for sure.
Yeah, and I just wonder if like other groups are going to get into this kind of business, and maybe some of them won't be as friendly as these guys are.
Yeah, well, Ghost Town is expanding. So they started in Venice, obviously, but they now do operate in other neighborhoods on the west side, and I think they're trying to figure out how to maintain, what is right now kind of white glove neighborhood service as they get bigger.
Because so much of the city's process is their alleged outreach, which is a word that drives me crazy. And I've seen this outreach up front, and you end up going back to the same people dozens of times. It's like, well, what's the point of this? What are you outreaching if they're still there after months and months of you visiting them?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely what you hear over and over is that it does take longer to get that end result of outreach, rather than just like moving people down the street. But what I heard from residents is like, they're watching from their windows as the outreach comes by, police come by, fire comes by, sanitation comes by. And like, when they don't see the change across all those visits, that does, they start to look around for other options.
Yeah.
That's definitely what I heard.
Definitely interested in where this goes. Hayes Davenport, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
LAmaterial.com is the website. It's a new news site about Los Angeles. And the article is called Protected by Ghost Town. I hope there's more of these. I don't think people should be putting up with this anymore. I really don't. When we come back, I am eternally fascinated that so many people, especially younger people, are spending more and more time talking to imaginary internet chatbots, imaginary friends. And what are you pointing at?
You know what I'm pointing at.
I did that once.
Okay, well, still.
I didn't do it again. And a researcher has figured out why people so easily are trusting the AI chatbots with all their problems and inner secrets. I'll tell you about this when we come back. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Residents in Boyle Heights in East LA rallied this morning to demand the permanent closure of the fire-damaged Lineage logistics warehouse. Hours later, LA Mayor Bass ordered city departments to stop processing the company's rebuilding plans until the cleanup is done and the site undergoes a full review. Bass says Lineage has failed to control the bad smells, the flies, the rats since last month's fire, while county health officials continue issuing citations as cleanup work continues. The news is brought to you by Sellers Advantage.
We are expecting significant surf and swell in the area.
Beaches in Southern California could be dangerous this weekend and packed as people try to beat this heat. Huntington Beach Marine Safety Battalion Chief Derek Peters says they had 140 rescues last weekend, and that could be topped this weekend.
The guards are ready. It's been a long summer. We've had a lot of swell this summer and warm temperatures as well. So this is something that they're expecting and used to at this point.
They're expecting up to 100,000 people in Huntington Beach for the final days of the U.S. Open of Surfing. A warning is in effect for strong riptides and high surf at some beaches because of Hurricane Genevieve. Long Beach is planning to cut hundreds of jobs to address a multi-million-dollar budget shortfall.
The city could lay off more than 260 employees and eliminate more than 200 vacant positions. Jobs at risk include fire captains, librarians, and crossing guards, with police and homeless services employees also in jeopardy. Long Beach plans to spend $4 billion in the 2026-27 fiscal year, but needs to close a $58 million budget gap. The cuts outweigh new spending, with current layoff plans accounting for 4% of the city's nearly 6,000 employees. Libraries, parks, and the city's homeless services hub are also looking at cuts. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
A man from East Hollywood will spend just over a year in federal prison for fraudulently collecting more than $64,000 in FEMA disaster relief tied to the 2025 fire in the Palisades. Federal prosecutors say he falsely claimed a home in the Palisades was his and got the money before the real homeowner discovered the fraud. A judge also ordered him to repay the full amount to FEMA. And there appears to be some confusion after President Trump announced that his new Board of Peace had struck a deal with the negotiators in Gaza and Israel. ABC's Stephen Portnoy says it's not clear who will make the first move.
Israel's UN ambassador stressed in an interview that any agreement is contingent on Hamas truly turning over its arms and moving its munitions out of the Strip. Quote, if they're playing games and they offer cosmetic solutions, it will not work for us. He added, we are not naive and we are not stupid.
Hamas, meanwhile, says Israel must stop its military strikes before any deal can move forward and says it will not disarm unless Israel fully withdraws from Gaza. We're going to the 405 next.
If you're looking to sell your home, go to Seller's Advantage, and they'll make you a cash offer. Buy it as is, no need for repairs. They'll close in days. Again, they buy with cash. They might offer you a $10,000 advance to help you move. Go read the reviews online. Call for a no obligation offer now. 888-321 as is. 888-321 as is. 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRA number 01961658. Providence Realty, DRA number 01915212.
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and hot tomorrow. Mid-80s to mid-90s for Metro LA, upper 90s to the triple digits in the valleys, the high desert and the IE. It's going to be windy again in the high desert and the IE. 80 at the beaches, 90 inland OC. Right now, 81 in San Juan Capistrano and 87 in Stanton. Stall on the 405 in Mission Hills.
This one is along the northbound side, coming up on San Fernando Mission Boulevard. Boy, this weather is really doing a doozy on cars and just stalling things out everywhere. This one's blocking the left lane. That drive is loading up overall out of Culver City. So watch for a slow drive coming off of about Venice Boulevard. South 405 slowing as well out of West LA. Sunset Boulevard in stretches all the way to Palo Verde in Long Beach. Here's a problem. This one is in Diamond Bar with a stalled out big rig, 60 eastbound past Grand. 2 right lanes are blocked. That drive is loading up away from Nogales. Also in Corona, they wrapped up a wreck on the 91 eastbound before Green River, but traffic's pretty tough, pushing away from the 57 freeway. Also in Costa Mesa, the 55 north at Baker Street. It's a crash in the right lane, and that drive is slow moving coming off of the 73. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Therapy Thursday with LNK is a new podcast. Real problems and the kind of drama you can't stop thinking about. Catch it on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Back pain can affect everything you do, your work, your sleep, even just enjoying life. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, back pain should not define your future. Their world-class spine team leads the way with non-surgical treatments, minimally invasive spine procedures. They deal with herniated discs, spinal stenosis, chronic pain that hasn't responded to therapy. They treat the most complicated spine issues and accept most PPO and Medicare insurance plans. So get back to moving freely, playing sports again, sleeping well, enjoying time with family and friends without that agony of chronic back pain. Call 800-919-2000, 800-919-2000. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. That's H-O-A-G, HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. Proudly physician-owned, locations throughout Southern California. 800-919-2000, HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
If you run a business, you know how hard it is to get your customers' attention. Yet 85% of consumers say radio is the last thing they hear before shopping. Let iHeartRadio help you reach your next customer today at 844-844-iHeart.
When power goes out and cell networks fail, AM radio can be a lifeline with local news, weather, and emergency information. But time is running out. AM radio could disappear from new cars unless Congress acts. Please text the 2 letters AM to 39179 and tell Congress to vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Text the letters AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop. This message furnished by the station.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob 1-800-345-6789. Call Jacob.
This July, celebrate your independence with $1,776 on new windows at American Vision Windows.
Hey, it's Conway here for Cars for Kids. We've donated 2 vehicles to Cars for Kids, and man, was it easy. Cars for Kids has been around for 30 years, and they know what they're doing. I recently saw firsthand one of their summer programs going on right now where they have over 1,400 kids. I saw hundreds of kids in the camp, and they couldn't thank Cars for Kids enough for making this incredible opportunity possible. So when you donate a car, you're helping real kids thrive this summer. CarsForKids.org. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS, Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K.
Worried about inflation, market volatility, or the weakening dollar? More Americans are turning to physical gold and silver to help diversify their retirement savings. Right now, receive up to $25,000 in free silver with a qualifying purchase. Call 888-447-7857 now to speak with a gold specialist. That's 888-447-7857. Again, call 888-447-7857. Not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk. Free silver offers a 10% bonus in silver on qualifying purchases of premium mint coins. $10,000 minimum purchase required. Bonus silver capped to $25,000 and credited to customer account. See goldencrestmetals.com for full terms.
This summer, be part of something bigger and help change the world. Realize the Dream is calling on you to take action and help us reach 100 million hours of service by Dr. King's 100th birthday in 2029. Whether you have an hour, a day, or a weekend, every act of service matters. Volunteer at a local shelter, mentor a young person, clean up your community. Whatever you do, make it count. Visit realizethedream.org and make this a summer of service that transforms lives, including your own.
KFI. More stimulating talk.
An iHeart radio station.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart radio app. John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6. After 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand. Voice line twice. Twice we're going to run it next hour. Apparently there's a few calls, some reviews of Deborah's performance as Gavin Newsom's mistress. We did a little radio theater early in the week for Ruby Rippey's tell-all Vanity Fair article. And these guys liked it, huh?
I guess.
It was all guys who called it.
I don't
huh?
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
That's an Eric question.
Coming up in the next segment, California Post has a story on how much Anthony Fauci made when he got out of government. You remember he helped lock down our lives, and a lot of people lost their jobs. Well, Fauci made out really well. Yeah, he went on to lots of money in his 80s. We'll tell you about that. Now, one of my long-running fascinations and irritations is how human beings have stopped being human to a large extent and spend much of their time staring at screens and increasingly now talking to fake people online, chatbots. And they share all their personal problems. They have ongoing conversations. They have romances, which I don't want to think about. I mean, there's the chatbot. You get a cute girl chatbot, and she'll go way beyond what you were doing the other day on the radio.
Oh my God, what was I doing? I was just reading.
Well, it was kind of steamy though.
Okay.
With the buttons all over the floor. And
They were my buttons.
so there's a new study out that this is Philosophical Studies. That's the name of the publication. And Tom Roberts is a philosopher, professor at the University of Exeter. And he's put out this research paper. Why do people talk to AI chatbots? What is the human phenomena going on here? Well, people naturally know how to trust a fictional character the same way they trust one in a movie or a novel. And I realized a long time ago that there are two types of people in the world. And
only two?
Well, when it comes to this, there are people who get immersed in fictional characters. And then maybe I'm the only one like this, but even when I'm watching or reading, I know it's a fictional character, and I don't get that emotionally involved. I don't take it home with me. I may, in the moment, have my emotions manipulated, right? But I remember this, and it hit me at KFI many years ago when I'd walk by some of these desolate cubicles, and these cubicle people, you know how they fill time by talking too much. One thing I like about the work at home era is I don't have to hear this, but they'd be talking about TV shows they saw the night before, but not in a normal way that I understood. They were really getting intense about the characters as if the characters were real. And I wanted to stop at the cubicles and smack them and say, do you know they're not real? That those are actors pretending to be other people and they're reading pre-scripted lines? But my God, the emotions. Oh, I just hate her. I can't believe she did that. So what are you insane? I couldn't walk among the cubicles. People thought I was aloof and unfriendly. That's why. Because they're idiots. But discomfort with fictional characters, according to the research, explains why people confide in chatbots, take their advice, and grow attached. But they also feel no guilt about deleting them or wiping their memory. People get tired of a chatbot. It's like, you've been deleted, and which I wish I could do that to people. Now that would be, if people came with a delete button. Chatbots can increasingly comment to you on real news and politics and current events as if they have genuine opinions. And they can make questionable claims feel more convincing than they should. So millions of people now text their AI chatbot the way they would text a close friend. Really? Really? That's what when they're staring at their phones texting all day, blocking up traffic. It's because they're texting their AI chatbot friend. People vent about their bad day. They ask advice for a big decision. Oh, that's a good idea. Or they chat to feel less alone. And it's the same thing that they feel about characters in a novel, movie, TV show. And it may explain why chatbots caught on so fast. Boy, this must be really a big deal that I just don't know people who do this. Do you?
No. Well, at least nobody admits to it.
Somebody must be doing this. It's not a day goes by where I don't read about this stuff. People spend a lifetime, according to the researcher, Tom Roberts, getting emotionally invested in characters they know aren't real, worrying about a hero in danger, or grieving a death in a novel. And he says chatbots tap into the same instinct, except the character talks back to them in real time, remembers your name, and tailors its response to whatever you just said. He says chatting with an AI chatbot is like a new kind of fiction, interactive, without a single fixed offer and personalized to you the way no novel or movie character can match. And that's why they get so addictive. They can address you by name, keep track of what you've told them before across days and months of conversation. And I guess you can ask them what's went on today, and they'll give you like the news. Oh, did you see this? This was in the news today. I thought you'd be interested, kind of stuff, like you would with a friend.
I feel bad for people that need that in their lives.
I got stuck behind a woman. I wanted to make a U-turn on this boulevard, right? And they have a cut through where you can make a left and a left. And this woman was in the cut through, and she wasn't moving. I was trying to figure out, can I pass her and make a left turn while I'm passing her? That looked kind of dangerous. And then she finally moved, and now she's just slowly crawling forward on this new lane. And it's like, what is this woman doing? And I pass her on the left side, and I look over. Classic, like, West Side woman, okay? You can just tell from the hair and the makeup and the vacant look on her face. And she's got a camera, and she's looking at a video, or maybe she's FaceTiming, I don't know. But she's got it, she's held it in front of her, like over the dashboard, and she's looking at it and driving about 3 miles an hour.
Did you honk?
I should have, and I was just stunned. And then she stared out the window towards me with her mouth open and her eyes glazed over. And it's like, you really are a zombie. Will you get off the road, get out of traffic? Wherever the hell you're watching, go away. Backing up traffic. I don't like this world. She just looked like such a dope.
I see that on the freeway in the fast lane.
Oh, yeah.
In the fast lane, everybody's going around and cutting that person off.
Yes. There was somebody just mucking along at about 35 miles an hour. Well, this was in the right lane, but everybody had to swerve around and cut him off. And he's got a video going. Those people ought to be arrested and imprisoned. And then they start talking about people getting emotionally and sexually involved with their chatbots, because they're not getting any action at home anymore.
So it's a different kind of porn.
Yeah. It resembles human interaction. They have very realistic voices, but they don't necessarily even. I mean, they're willing to do unrealistic things to you if you ask them.
Okay.
Like things that you wouldn't get in the house.
Well, some people may.
More coming up. And Deborah Marcus live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. LA Mayor Bass signs an emergency executive order for Boyle Heights. Governor Newsom just released 4 years of tax returns. We'll have more at the top of the hour, going to the 5 next.
Being hurt in an accident is like a punch in the gut you never saw coming. The attorneys at Sweet James know the agony, the disruption, sometimes it's the devastation that people go through. Sweet James has spent 25 years fighting for injured accident victims. They have experience, and they have the reputation and the care to help you make your comeback. They've helped thousands of people just like you recover when an accident has changed their life. And they've won over $1 billion for their clients. And they can't guarantee the outcome. But you want a law firm like Sweet James on your side when you need someone the most. Here's the number, 800-9-million, 800-9-000-000. They have an office in Los Angeles, and if you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, you call the attorneys at Sweet James. You pay nothing until they win. That number is 800-9-million, 800-9-000-000, sweetjames.com.
Southland weather from KFI. Hot again tomorrow. Highs ranging from the 80s to the triple digits. This report brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. From your Toyota dealers traffic center, we make it easy. Crash on the 5 in Norwalk. The
This one's along the northbound side coming up on Florence where the two left lanes are blocked. This one's involving a motorcyclist. Big delays backing up away from Rosecrans. Also, Mission Hills, a stall, 405 northbound coming up on San Fernando Mission Boulevard. Left lane's been blocked and overall slowing getting out of Venice or make that Culver City from Venice Boulevard. We're heading out to Cerritos with a crash, 605 northbound before South Street. The right lane is blocked. Delays from Carson Street and along the 55 Costa Mesa, northbound at Baker Street. Crashes out of lanes, delays off of the 73. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
It's time to sell your home. You want to downsize? You want to move? Or you inherited a home that you don't want to hold on to? Call Seller's Advantage, whatever the reason. They've been buying homes for decades, and they buy with cash, as is. You don't have to do any repairs, and they'll close in days. What else do you want? You also don't have to prepare your home to be shown. So if it's time to sell, you call Seller's Advantage for a free, no-obligation offer. 888-321-AS-IS. 888-321-AS-IS. 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658. Providence Realty DRE number 01915212.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Would you take 15 seconds to save 15% to freshen your breath? Go to Zellmans.com and use the code SAVE. That's ZELMINS.com. Use the code SAVE for fresh, clean breath for hours.
Tap into happy hour with half-priced pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
What's the price of good health? If you've been putting off a weight loss procedure because you think it's too expensive, think again. If you are 50 pounds or more overweight, you are opening the door for a future of medical bills. But you know what is free? A consultation at West Medical. At West Medical, bariatric procedures may be covered by many PPO insurance plans. Stop waiting and start investing in your health today. Call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL for your free, no-obligation consultation or visit westmedical.com.
I feel incredible because I call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Free shouldn't come with a catch. With iHeartRadio, it doesn't. No monthly fees, no trial periods. Radio, music, podcasts. Download the free iHeartRadio app now.
Let's talk about Galpin Ford. Just like the boys in blue, they are champions. Family owned and operated for 80 years, celebrating their 80th birthday this year. They are the #1 Ford dealer in California. Yes, champions. 22-time President's Club winners, 17-time Ford Triple Crown winners. This is the Ford dealership of record. #1 Mach-E and Ford Ranger dealer in the entire world, and everything they move has that 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on it. That's every new vehicle and nearly every pre-owned vehicle. Ask for Mike Schwartz or Paul Ulbrich. It's galpinford.com.
Have questions about plastic surgery? Get trusted answers from Dr. Raban at plasticsurgeryuncensored.com.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is now a podcast. Love triangles, family feuds, secrets that should probably stay secret. Sponsored by Airtasker. Post your task. Get help from a tasker. Get anything done. That's a stress buster. And binge Therapy Thursday with Ellen K on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hi, this is Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. I've spent my career designing and building beautiful homes. I'm here on KFI to help you transform your house into a more beautiful home. And while we're at it, build yourself a more beautiful life.
home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, tomorrow morning at 6 on KFI.
More stimulating talk.
What if we told you Matt Damon was screaming on set to get his voice weather warned for The Odyssey? From the TikTok Podcast Network, Raiders of the Lost Podcast has the whole story about the biggest movies of the summer. Download the iHeartRadio app and search Raiders of the Lost Podcast now.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk.
After the Independence Day chaos at Newport Beach, the city is looking for new solutions.
That could mean curfews for teens and other things. The mayor joins us to talk about it.
It's Marks and Merrill, Monday, KFI at noon.
All right, KFI, AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Oh, 2 rounds of the Moist Line next hour, 2 rounds at 520 and 550. If you want to get on for next week, it's 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86. We are live on YouTube now, live on X. We got the podcast coming out in a little over an hour in case you missed anything. And, you know, I was going to talk about the fortune, the whopping amount of money that Anthony Fauci made ever since he left government after shutting down our lives. I'll do that after Deborah's news, because it turns out he's made a lot more money than I originally thought. So I'm going to need more time to tell you about just how much money Anthony Fauci has made after ruining your life. I was just discussing this insane attraction people now have to talk to their new imaginary friends, their AI chatbots, and how people are so distracted driving that it's getting dangerous. And listen to this. There's a police officer in New Jersey in the town of Dunellen, and this cop dressed up as a shrub. Like a 6-foot shrub. He's covered with green leafy foliage all over his body. He looks like Sasquatch. And he busted over 70 distracted drivers on one of the main roads going through Dunellen.
Good.
74 of them, to be exact. He stood there for 6 hours, and the idea was to enforce the cell phone law, to keep you, you're supposed to have a handheld, there's a law that says you can't hold your phone in the car, right? Most states have that. But see, what's going on now is what I said about that lady a few minutes ago. Now people hold the phone in the air so they could look at the video. Most people talk on Bluetooth, but now with this, they watch shows and they have to hold it up to do FaceTime. So he wrote 74 tickets. You get fined between $200 and $400 for the first offense. And he really looked like a scraggly shrub. And he had binoculars inside the shrubbery. It's the funniest thing. And you could see him holding the binoculars, but he just looked like the extension of this leafy tree. And he was getting people by the dozens. I mean, 74 in 6 hours, that shows you just how pervasive that is, because these no cell phone while driving laws have been around probably for about 15 years. Your whole life has just been reduced to a little 2-inch screen, your entire life. All right, we come back. Anthony Fauci, who obviously did a lot of bad things, or he wouldn't have taken the Fifth Amendment 111 times, so he wouldn't have gotten a pardon from Joe Biden. But what has been soothing the embarrassment of what he went through earlier this week at a Senate hearing is that he has made an unconscionable amount of money after his policies ended up throwing millions of people out of work. He made out. Maybe you didn't. He did. Tell you about it when we come back. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
Executive order. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. LA Mayor Bass has signed an emergency executive order to put any plans on hold to rebuild that burned out cold storage warehouse in Boyle Heights.
While a thorough investigation of the property and any future use is conducted.
Bass complained this morning that Lineage Logistics had the audacity, as she put it, to already apply for a rebuilding permit.
In my opinion, they shouldn't even think about rebuilding until they've cleaned up the mess they've created.
She issued 2 emergency orders last month when the fire started, aimed at speeding up recovery efforts and enhancing environmental protections. The cleanup work is still ongoing. A summer heat wave is settling into Southern California, with forecasters warning the hottest weather is still to come this weekend. The National Weather Service has posted heat advisories and extreme heat warnings for parts of the region, with triple-digit temperatures expected in the valleys, mountains, and deserts, while inland areas of LA and Orange counties climb into the 90s. Governor Newsom has released 4 years of tax returns as he faces questions about a possible 2028 presidential campaign. The returns show he and his wife earned between $1.4 and $3.5 million a year, with the highest income coming after the sale of a home in 2021 in Marin County. The disclosure comes as the Justice Department is reportedly investigating the tax filings of Newsom's wife. The Newsoms deny any wrongdoing and say the investigation is politically motivated. Authorities in Arizona have released an early ransom note in the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, hoping someone recognizes the writing style. Investigators say a second note later claimed Guthrie had died, but they have not confirmed whether that's true. The notes were sent to a TV station in Tucson days after Guthrie disappeared from her home in February. President Trump overruled his own agencies to deny disaster aid for Democratic states.
A new report says emails and documents from state and federal officials show President Trump saying no to help for New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and New York. The rejections came despite FEMA and NOAA saying they met the government's requirement for aid after record-breaking snow in February. The extreme number of denials for disaster aid for Democratic-led states are in contrast to the nearly 90% approval for Republican states. Presidents have sole authority to grant federal disaster aid, but it's highly unusual to deny it after FEMA confirms the need for help. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
The Department of Justice is dismissing the criminal case against Olympian David Hearn over damage to the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, admitting that the damage was actually caused by the government's contractor leading the project. ABC's Peter Haralambu says it's a dramatic reversal.
Prosecutors admitted in a court filing that the damage to the reflecting pool was not caused by vandals. It's repeatedly alleged by President Trump. Prosecutors said the contractors paid $14 million in taxpayer money to renovate the pool, botched the project.
Prosecutors say they got info about the flaws in the installation process only after Hearn was indicted. And Hamas in Gaza says it will begin to disarm as part of a deal announced by President Trump, but former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, Mick Mulroy, says the agreement requires Israel to end its strikes and withdraw from Gaza.
If this does happen, then this is a big deal for the 20-point peace plan and for the people of Gaza. It needs to happen. It should be a public acknowledgement. And they couldn't, of course, put those caveats on when they make those public acknowledgments.
Israel's defense minister has previously said Israel will remain in Gaza permanently, and conservatives want Hamas destroyed. We're going to go to the 210 next.
Spam text messages, deceptive emails. That's not good, huh? Scammers text and email and call you when they get your private information. They buy it from data brokers. You can tell those data brokers to stop. There's a company that does it for you. Incogni. 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 I use them. It's an online service, and it puts hundreds of data brokers on notice to stop. You know how many? They've removed my data from 324 data brokers. And if a data broker puts the information back online, they get it taken off again. In fact, they have been successful 441 times. So my data is not online like it once was. And I'm not getting spam calls. I'm getting very few spam texts and scam emails. Go to incogni.com/KFI. Save 60%. Incogni.com/KFI. Because if they can't find you, they can't scam you. That's incogni.com/KFI.
Southland weather from KFI. Sunny and hot tomorrow. Highs mid-80s to mid-90s. Metro LA. Upper 90s to the triple digits in the valleys, the high desert, and the IE. It's going to be windy again for the high desert and the IE. 80 at the beaches, 90 for inland OC. Right now, it's 77 in Dana Point, 85 in Anaheim, 91 in Diamond Bar, and 90 in Simi Valley. The KFI Financial Update brought to you by Supersure, supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed up 277, S&P 500 up 52, and NASDAQ up 252. It's slow on the 210 in Lakeview Terrace.
Yeah, I'm looking at that westbound side, and it crowds up away from Osborne. You're on the brakes and stretches all the way to the 5. And the 5 northbound loading up out of Sun Valley. We're seeing delays here away from Tuxford Street as you continue ahead towards the 14. The drive is going to be tough in Diamond Bar. You got a few things shaken. This first one is a stall. 57 north connector to the 60 east, partially blocking that transition, delays away from Tonner Canyon. And a crash in Diamond Bar, 60 eastbound before Grand, taking out that left lane with that 60 eastbound backing up from just about, looks like Nogales, right in that stretch. It's pretty tough. The drive into the Cajon Pass is also slow. 15 northbound, leaving the 210 freeway as you continue ahead to the 138 with Southern California's most accurate traffic reports. I'm Angel Martinez.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is a new podcast. Confessions, impossible dilemmas, and advice that hits home. Catch every episode on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
If you run a business, you've probably heard plenty of AI promises. But here's one thing we know for sure. When consumers hear an ad for your business, 90% want to know it's a real person talking. And that's what you'll get when you advertise with iHeart. We're guaranteed human. That means real voices, real connection, and trusted audio that helps businesses drive results. Learn how easy it is to tell your story through our voices. Call 844-844-iHeart today. That's 844-844-iHeart.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival,
presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena. Streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of iHeartRadio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
KFI AM 640.
An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We're on from 3 to 6 every day after 6 o'clock. Whatever you missed, it's the podcast, John Kobylt Show on Demand, same as the radio show. And we're live on X. We're live on YouTube. We are available to subscribe to. You become a member at youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. Less than 1,500 subscribers to hit to 10,000. Now, I have to stop for just a second here before we get into all the money that Anthony Fauci has scooped up since ruining people's lives 6 years ago. Some of you people in the audience, I'm told, are really disgusting. Apparently, the quality of the messages that you submitted to the Moist Line regarding Deborah's role-playing earlier this week when she was reading the part of Ruby Rippey, Newsom's mistress. Apparently they were, Deborah, I don't know if you know, they were just flat out disgusting. We had to delete a lot of stuff.
Oh my God, those kind of listeners they listen to your show?
Yes. This is very upsetting to me.
It is.
She's got to be treated better than that.
I need respect, John.
Yes, and this is not some kind of
porn
toy
show.
Yeah, that's right. This is not. I mean, I know she sounded very alluring. Apparently caused a lot of unrest in the audience among the men. But that's really, I mean, apparently they were all making specific requests.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what the requests were, but it looks like they were. I mean, now who would do that?
Your
if
listeners,
I remember correctly,
John.
What?
The most tame request made it into the Moist Line.
The most tame request.
You'll get a taste.
I see. So you just stop that. All right. It's a working woman here.
Yes, I'm a respectable journalist.
Working woman?
What?
Right, maybe I could have phrased that differently.
A little bit.
All right, we'll do the moist line coming up next segment. Now, Anthony Fauci. Oh, my God. If you don't think this isn't all a scam, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what evidence you need. Fauci, we found out a lot of his public advice was a load of crap. 6 feet apart, wearing masks. He admitted later he just made all this stuff up. He never wanted to admit that he had sent our tax money to the Wuhan lab to help finance the research into creating the super virus, the COVID-19 virus. That was our money to enhance the virus. And he knew about it. He wrote the check and tried to deny everything along the way. All that nonsense about how the workplaces, the schools, the churches, everything had to be shut down. Well, meantime, Fauci leaves government. He retired at the end of 2022. The damage was done, regardless of what he admits to now or what's discovered about him now. And do you know how much money he's made in the last 3.5 years? $12.5 million. Yes, Anthony Fauci has made $12.5 million. A government watchdog agency called Open the Books made requests from the government, and they have a 141-page financial disclosure report. In his first year, he earned $3.5 million. But the money has poured in ever since. Book deals, speaking engagements, prestigious awards that gave him cash, $350,000 golden parachute from taxpayers. Were you kicked out of a job because of these COVID rules? Your business closed down? Did you lose a lot of money? I know thousands of businesses closed permanently. Him and Newsom. When he stepped down, he was running the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. 38 years he had the job. He was the highest paid federal employee in the country, making more than the president. President makes $400,000 a year. He's making $480,000. So there was this Minnesota news outlet called Alpha News, made a public records request and found out that $75,000 was paid to Fauci by the University of Minnesota this past April. In fact, he gets between $50,000 to $100,000 an appearance to give, I guess, an hour-long speech. He's appeared 18 times for public speaking engagements, earning a total of $900,000 minimum. Ticket prices for his next appearance are going for $160 each. He wrote in his memoir, "In the years since I stepped down as director, I've had the opportunity to lecture and engage in fireside chats and moderated discussions throughout the country." This is what he wrote in his memoir, which was A Doctor's Journey in Public Service. Yeah, this is public service. This is the big cash in. You know what he got for his book? $5 million. He's $5 million from Random House. When I stepped down as director, I asked myself what I could do in the next few years while I'm still filled with passion and energy and blessed with good health. The answer came to me quickly: to share my experiences with the world. Well, yeah, when the world's paying you $12.5 million, share away. Of course, he never told the truth about spending our tax money on enhancing the virus. He never told the truth right away that most of these health recommendations, which became ironclad health laws, were just nonsense. There was no science behind it, no justification for it. It was just wild guesses. He's made $750,000 from teaching. He got all these cash gifts, $50,000 from Columbia University, something called the Calderon Prize, $40,000 from the National Academy of Medicine, the Leonhard Prize. Prizes. You'd think he discovered the COVID vaccine himself. In fact, the guys who did create the COVID vaccine, how much did they get? Bet you they didn't get $12.5 million. This guy got $12.5 million for telling us to stand 6 feet away and wear a mask. He gets a royalty check for a textbook he's edited for the last 40 years. Every year he gets between $100,000 and $1 million. They don't have exact amounts here. Wow. So a conservative estimate is $12.5 million. His net worth, guess what his net worth is now? $27.5 million. $27.5 million as a government employee. Everything's a racket. Everything is a racket. I do see that there are some people who are just, I see them posting, they're very upset that Fauci's integrity is being questioned. Like they're having the same kind of derangement, mental breakdown that they have about Trump stuff. Same thing now. They're just so angry and appalled. And it's like, hey, he's the one who took the fifth 111 times. Why doesn't he answer 111 questions? He's the one who's taken $12.5 million. He's the one who didn't tell us about financing that virus research. He's the one who who kept insisting it was likely the animal market. And I mean, looking back, how could it not be the lab, right? This is a big, big, big world. And the town where the virus started spreading was the same town where they were doing this advanced research on an enhanced virus that he helped fund. He's the one who got the pardon from Joe Biden. Oh, no, he did wonderful work as a public servant. You show me the guy. Let's just take any random mobster who takes the fifth 111 times and gets a presidential pardon who's not guilty of something. I mean, I just say, I'm not accepting this pardon. I'm not guilty of anything. They might trap him into something. Nobody traps you if you're telling the truth and what you did was legal. If you're honest and your actions were legal, nobody can trap you. People who tell the truth are never worried about this stuff. They don't have to get lawyers. They don't have to get pardons. They don't have to take the Fifth Amendment. I have never seen a guy who is almost turned into a living saint who turned out to be so evil, so power hungry, overwhelmed by his own ego. I can't think of anybody who's been affected like this. You see his diaries? Half his diaries, he's bragging about all the celebrities he knew and how complimentary they all were. And it's like, what? Weird hero worship in this country. Always for the wrong people. Nobody's ever skeptical. Nobody ever says, I don't know. Can't be that good. This doesn't seem right. What's going on here? Nobody ever does that. They just lurch from one romance to the next. And for several years, it was Fauci. A stupid, stupid species. Now, they're all talking to AI chatbots now. Maybe it's better that way. Maybe it's better. You know, we were talking yesterday about this, the generation.
John, you are so late again.
Huh? That's all right. We're going to get to all your fans soon.
It's not about my fans. It's about the news.
Oh, you sound like Fauci.
It's about traffic.
It's like when he said, I am science. You are news. All right, fine. We'll do the news. We'll do the news. Go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you. Here is the latest. Residents and community groups have rallied in Boyle Heights, and the minimum wage in California is going up. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. We're going to go to the 91 next.
Are you done?
Yes, almost.
All
Well, I
that?
have something. Yes, I'm trying to keep us on time here.
GiveMeTheVin.com. You can sell your car in a hot minute. Enter your GiveMeTheVin.com number. Well, enter your VIN number and then get an offer fast. GiveMeTheVin.com. Their offers beat CarMax and Carvana every day. If they can't, they'll pay you $100. GiveMeTheVin.com. You'll get your check on the spot. Super easy, super fast. GiveMeTheVin.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Southland weather from KFI. It's going to be hot again tomorrow. We're looking at highs in the 80s to the triple digits. This report brought to you by Blindster.com. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. Crash on the 91 in Anaheim Hills.
This one's along the eastbound side, and it's coming right up on Green River. That's where these cars are off to the shoulder. They may be out of their cars discussing a few matters, if you know what I'm saying. And that 91 eastbound is backing up all the way from the 57. It gets really slow there. There's a stuck car on the 91 eastbound coming up on Weir Canyon, blocking the right lane, adding to that slow drive. And in turn, this is affecting the 241 toll road. Northbound slowing, backing up for about a half mile before the Windy Ridge Toll Plaza as you continue ahead to the 91 freeway. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
I've looked into a HELOC and didn't qualify.
HELOC said no. Splatero says go. You only need a 500 minimum credit score and no income requirement. You keep your home and your existing mortgage rate. Visit Splatero.com today and access your home's equity.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com.
Oh, that grinding and squealing. What are you going to do about that?
Time for new brakes. The chain store never has what I need.
No worries. Go to RockAuto.com for name brands at lower prices.
Would you take 15 seconds to save 15% to freshen your breath? Go to Zellmans.com and use the code SAVE. That's ZELMINS.com. Use the code SAVE for fresh, clean breath for hours.
You don't pay for iHeartRadio. Our advertisers do. That's why it's always been and always will be 100% free. Radio, music, podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
You ever wonder how far an EV can take you on one charge? Well, most people drive about 40 miles a day, which means you can do all daily stuff no problem. Go to work, grab the kids at school, get the groceries, and still have enough charge to visit your in-laws in the next county. But they don't need to know that. And the best part, you won't have to buy gas at all. The way forward is electric. Explore EVs that fit your life at electricforall.org.
Avoiding shorts because of your varicose veins? Just call 1-800-WEST Medical.
When power goes out and cell networks fail, AM radio can be a lifeline with local news, weather, and emergency information. But time is running out. AM radio could disappear from new cars unless Congress acts. Please text the two letters AM to 39179 and tell Congress to vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Text the letters AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop. This message furnished by this station.
Why do you love movies? Is it the emotion, the spectacle, the escapism? On Raiders of the Lost podcast, we explore cinema like no one else, including huge interviews with stars like Ryan Gosling on Project Hail Mary.
It was like the Jaws shark. Didn't always work, came with its own problems. That's what made it great. The heart of the movie is Rocky and Grace, and their friendship is hard-earned.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Raiders of the Lost podcast, and listen now.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
That's a $1,000 giveaway.
Now is your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Dollar. That's DOLLAR. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash.
KFI. Let's see. Dollar. That's the word. Enter that at KFIAM640.com/cash. You'll get an email telling you if you win. Check your junk and spam folder too for it. And there's a winning keyword every hour, every weekday from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Next chance to win is 9:20 a.m. on Monday with Gary and Shannon. It is time now, the first round of the Moist Line.
Hey, it's John. Thanks for calling the Moist Line. I'm so excited to hear from you. It's about time.
Of course homelessness is going up. It's never gone down. It can be considered the top 3 in Karen Bass's administration failures. The Palisades, Boyle Heights, or LAX People Mover, and the homelessness crisis. Wake up, Los Angeles.
I think that locusts could descend upon LA and Karen Bass would blame Donald Trump.
You know, after hearing that the supervisors are whining about paying out on settlements to the prosecutors that were abused basically by George Gascon and his people, just shut the up and sign the checks. Because you supervised this. Did you speak up? Did you take any action? Did you try to deter any of it? No, you did not.
Karen Bass is a terrible mayor, but Anithya Robin would be even worse because VSA means rule by committee, and by a Marxist committee it's that. So unfortunately, I'd have to say Karen Bass is the least worst option.
You're totally right. This new generation, they're really good for nothing, man. They don't know how to talk. Nothing. Zero. Nada.
Hey, Deborah, you could read bedtime stories to me anytime.
Look for someone to be with. You got to look for somebody. You have to have chemistry. You got to make you laugh. You got to want to be around them. You have to get along. You have that chemistry. The rest of it will fall into place. It's a whole other level. And a lot of it's what goes on between the sheets. Because if you got that, you can make the rest of it work. Believe me, you're not hiring an employee. So that's what you look for. And you can't see it on a spreadsheet or a dating app.
It's Ruby
Just want to comment on the core values of these 20-year-olds. There's an old saying, if you think the same way in your 40s that you did in your 20s, then you probably did something wrong.
Guys, this is absolutely fantastic. It deserves a golden mic.
Better to ask forgiveness than to ask for permission. Use that voice for the news.
You gotta fake it till you make it, buddy. You just gotta go up there, fake a convulsion. Hopefully you're getting healed, and then hopefully later on you're healed, man. That's how it works.
Hey, Deborah Mark, your reading of the Vanity Fair part on the Newsom affair situation was very sexy.
You guys voted for the sidewalks have to be fixed and repaired before the street can be repaid. So thank you and your voters for that one.
Shout out to Deborah because she brought a whole new meaning to the phrase more stimulating talk radio.
California is now controlled by unions, and they vote for whoever takes care of their butt. Look at the high-speed train thing. That's a union project. They've been paying those guys for how many years, and they haven't done anything? The whole state's a rip-off.
You know, like I did in 2016, I didn't like Trump or Hillary, so I set out that election. In Los Angeles mayor, I'm going to have to do the same thing. Either one of them is going to be horrible for this city. Either one of them. I mean, you can't make a choice because they're both bad in this mayoral election. Goodness gracious. This city is really good and ready to go to hell in a handbasket.
Can little Debbie start telling the news in that voice she used on Tuesday when her and John were role-playing with the Gavin Newsom story? It would be great. Suggestion, please consider it.
When is society going to figure out that all these homeless people are lost causes? They are gone. They have checked out of society. Pretending that they're ever going to become useful members of society or even self-respecting citizens is absurd. These people can't take care of themselves and never will. Institutionalize them. Karen Bass is off her rocker, not allowing them to build again.
Up to you, Deborah, for your Oscar-worthy performance. I just want to say thank you to Deborah Mark for that lovely reading of Rippy's journal entry. And I would just like to say thank you because now I have an appointment with HR tomorrow morning because apparently my coworkers thought I was listening to a naughty book on the clock.
You're doing this dramatic reading of Newsom and his mistress. It was pretty entertaining.
Thank you for leaving your message.
Wow.
Please hang up.
Those are the tame ones.
Yes, certainly. It was very raunchy and explicit what some of
Yeah, well, you have psycho listeners.
Some of the who really like you. We did that Tuesday 3:00 hour, which would be hour number 1 of that podcast. In case you want to listen to it, you might want to. I wouldn't listen to it in front of your wife, though. If might want to find a private room in your house.
Oh, really?
Well, look at the reaction everybody had. I'm just trying to keep guys from getting into trouble.
Okay.
Because they'll hear that, and the wife they'll hear that and say, "Who are you listening to? What's her name? Who is she?"
It would be fun to do the news that way, but
yeah, it would be.
But I need the job.
When are we getting the Deborah Mark AI chatbot?
Oh, don't say that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put it out there, Clay.
Do you know how much money you could make?
I'm looking at other options, John. You may lose me one day.
Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Residents and community groups have rallied in Boyle Heights, demanding the permanent closure of that fire-damaged Lineage logistics warehouse. One rally goer told KTLA the goal right now is to get people the resources they need.
Universal health care, an entire environmental study of all soils and everything that has been contaminated in the area.
The demonstration came after LA Mayor Bass announced an executive order blocking the company from moving forward with rebuilding plans until the cleanup is complete. Bass says Lineage has failed to control the foul odors, the flies, the rats since last month's fire. The LAPD is looking for a guy accused of fatally stabbing another man near the Sylmar San Fernando Metrolink station. Cops say the guy sped off on a bike after the attack around 2 this afternoon. The victim died at the scene. Detectives are still investigating what led to that stabbing. An F-35 fighter jet crashed on the airfield of Marine Corps Air Station Miramar in San Diego. ABC's Martha Raddatz says it happened during a training mission.
A source telling ABC News it appears the jet crashed just short of the runway as it was landing. The pilot ejecting, taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
The cause of that crash is under investigation. The minimum wage in California is going up to $17.40 an hour. Governor Newsom says the annual inflation adjustment will kick in January 1st. The increase is automatic under state law. The wage hike will be the highest in the country. It will also be nearly 2.5 times the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, which hasn't changed since 2009. President Trump says negotiators have reached a framework for a peace deal between Israel and Hamas. But ABC's Stephen Portnoy says questions remain about whether both sides have agreed to the terms.
Aides say the plan is for Israel to withdraw from Gaza and for Hamas to disarm and turn power in Gaza over to what's described as a new technocratic, apolitical government. And there's a fair amount of skepticism about all of this.
Israel has not confirmed the framework. Hamas, meanwhile, has said it agreed to the roadmap on condition that disarmament was carried out at the same time as Israeli withdrawal. Heading over to the 110 next.
Declare your independence from dated, tired windows. Today's the last day. American Vision Windows is offering you a savings of $1,776 off new windows, but you have to call them today. Now, new windows will lower your energy bills and lock in comfort year-round. And you get a curb appeal boost on your home. 25 years, more than 1 million windows installed. American Vision Windows is California's most trusted window replacement company. And they're also employee-owned. Every employee has a personal stake in getting your project right. So you'll get a smooth process. Most projects completed in a day. You're not going to be living in a construction zone. And this month, well, today is the last day. Your project will cost a lot less. $1,776 less, but you have to book it today. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Call or see the website. Again, now. AmericanVisionWindows.com. I'm not kidding. 888-771-2188. 888-771-2188.
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and hot tomorrow, mid-80s to mid-90s for Metro LA, upper 90s to the triple digits in the valleys, the high desert, and the IE. Windy again in the high desert and the IE, 80 at the beaches, 90 inland OC. Right now, 85 in Laguna Woods, and it's 89 in Rancho Santa Margarita. It is slow on the 110 in Gardena.
This northbound side is loading up, leaving the 91 freeway. You're on the brakes and stretches as you continue all the way to the 5 in Elysian Park, the southbound side of the 110. Crowding up, leaving the 5 as well, and you're on the brakes ahead all the way to Manchester Avenue. Tough in Hawthorne, East 105, leaving the 405 freeway. It's pretty heavy and slow all the way to the 605. That 605 northbound, it's pushing back almost out of Los Alamitos from Catella. And delays continue in stretches all the way to the 10. The drive in the Cajon Pass loading up 15 northbound from the 210 freeway to the 138. And even the southbound side slows out of the high desert from just about the 395 as you continue back towards Cleghorn. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Hey, it's John Kobylt, and it's time to talk to Bobby Tagavi, trial attorney and managing partner at Sweet James. Bobby, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, John. Good to be here.
All right. This story is about Chris Brown, the rap star. He's got to pay almost $13 million in damages to a housekeeper, a woman named Maria Avila, over a dog attack. Massive security dog on his property just ripped into Avila. Brown testified. He's the first witness at the trial. And looking at this list here, I don't think he said anything that helped his case. He said he heard the dog named Hades. That's a bad sign. Growling, rushed downstairs, right. Found Avila face down, motionless. He locked up the dog, and he didn't call 911 because he was afraid a recording would be leaked to the media. He never touched her. This is his admission. Never offered her water, never brought her a towel, nothing. And then went on to describe the injuries and how much blood there was. He was afraid that it was going to be leaked because he's a celebrity. And so he ran off the property. And then he challenges this thing in court.
Yeah, jurors don't like that. Jurors don't like that. And they're, you miss that human element and that human touch and the human empathy when you have somebody that's hurt like that. And, your answers are no, I didn't do anything and I didn't help. It really is not a good look for Chris Brown in that particular situation. And, probably goes into the number that the jury came back with. But really, these cases come down to what a reasonable person in Chris Brown's shoes would have done, and the dog owner's shoes would have done. And, if you have the dog for security, you reasonably believe that's going to attack somebody if the dog is agitated. That's why you have it as a security guard. And that's kind of where I think the liability came in. And then obviously the injuries, like you stated earlier, or, dog mauled her pretty bad. So that's kind of where you get the cross section of the liability or the accountability plus the big number.
Thanks, Bobby. If you've suffered an injury, Sweet James is the firm to call. Call 800-9-MILLION, 800-9-MILLION, sweetjames.com. Offices throughout California, including Los Angeles.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Tap into Happy Hour with half-priced pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
I'm not great with words after a fight, and I'm sorry, wasn't cutting it this time. So I used Smile Tunes to write a soulful ballad about how she's always right. By the second chorus, the silent treatment was officially over. Visit SmileTunes.com and get out of the doghouse today.
I'm Nick Tuccio. You probably know me from NYPD Blue, The Longest Yard, or Spike Lee's Black Klansman. And on my new podcast, Delivering Happiness with Nick Tuccio, I deliver pizza to a new guest. I've shared a slice with everyone, from Seth Rollins.
What are you doing with my belt?
To Bill Burr.
I don't think I've ever met somebody so exactly out of their mind.
We even have more great guests coming up, including John Turturro.
It's called Happiness, Delivering Happiness.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Delivering Happiness with Nick Turturro, and listen now.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
Protect your retirement with gold and silver. Call Golden Crest Metals, 888-447-7857.
This is Jacob Emrani. When you need help after an accident, I'm here for you.
Accident or injury, call Jacob Emrani. Call Jacob.
KFI, you guys are awesome.
I can leave it on all day and enjoy everything I'm listening to.
They talk about the news that we don't normally hear on mainstream news.
I am a fan. I literally have it in my ear constantly. KFI keeps me entertained, keeps a smile on my face.
KFI.
AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. The John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6. Conway's coming up after 6 o'clock. We're live on YouTube. live on X. Going to release the podcast in about a half an hour. And you can always follow us at John Kobylt Radio and all the social media sites. We've had Joey Tuccio on a few times. Joey Tuccio is an animal rights activist. He has an organization called It Starts With One. And he and his fellow animal lovers, they have devoted a lot of time for many months to try to save the dogs and some cats that are being tortured by the vagrants, the mental patients, and the drug addicts that Karen Bass allows to run amok on Skid Row. And these dogs are treated so badly, some of them die terrible deaths. They do experiments on the dogs to test out the drugs, see if it kills the dog, and then the vagrant knows that maybe he'll survive the dose. And, you know, we've gone through all the mutilation, the disfigurement that the dogs suffer. Joey's been on a number of times. He had said he was going to do something and take it right to City Hall, to Karen Bass's office, and he did that today. He took the ashes, the remains of a dog that died on Skid Row, and actually went right to Karen Bass's office. And you're going to hear him talking to the assistant to the chief of staff, and who's apparently keeping Joey from getting any farther, and told Joey how uncomfortable she feels. Now, imagine this. There are dogs being sacrificed by these crazy homeless people, and she is uncomfortable because Joey brought the ashes. Listen to this exchange.
The mayor has a very challenging schedule. We do too. We don't get paid for this. So, like, is there a way that we could, like, who is in charge of animals, like in the animal department here? Is it Jackie Hamilton or?
Off the top of my head, I can't recall. So.
Oh, and you're the chief, and what's your
the assistant, right?
You're the executive assistant to the chief of staff.
Officer, but that's not. I mean, I don't know that. Like, if I'm being completely honest, it's hard for me to have this conversation before being filmed.
Yeah, I know it's tough. You know what's tougher? This dead dog. So I think you could deal with that if the dog could deal with dying slowly. So I apologize that you're uncomfortable with us recording. This is more uncomfortable.
It's hard for her to talk while he's holding the ashes of a dead dog that she and the rest of these idiots in the administration allowed to die because they will not police Skid Row once and for all. Jim McDonald, too, the police chief. You believe that these vagrants have such absolute protection that they get to torture dogs in public and then they die? And then Tuccio brings the ashes over to the executive assistant to the chief of staff. And she sounds dumb as a box of rocks, by the way. Not the most articulate person I've heard. So, yeah. Oh, well, she's uncomfortable. She's, it's very difficult to talk. Say, you try being a dog on Skid Row these days, lady. I've been looking at Joey's X site because he posts several times a day. And he posts a couple of other things here that are really shocking. He has some video of a 19-year-old girl, and she's sitting on the sidewalk. And Joey says she's 19. This is her third child, and she's 10 weeks pregnant. And she's been doing drugs for the first 9 weeks. And he writes, this is child abuse. And this is so incredibly normal on Skid Row and all over downtown LA. This is what Karen Bass and Jim McDonald allows. 19-year-old girls, third child, 10 weeks pregnant. I got to repeat all this. She's already been doing drugs for the first 9 weeks. So that little baby is already been given a very, very bad deal. Here's another one. He posts, if you're on Instagram, he says, follow White Wall Stunts. He sees everything on Skid Row, including this lady, and this is a photo. This is a lady smoking meth and actually having a baby, giving birth at the same time. Seriously, there's a photo of this woman giving birth to a baby on the sidewalk, smoking meth. Baby was found shortly thereafter, dead in a blanket. Yeah. Is that unfathomable? And he just posted that 2 days ago. He and other people are just taking snapshots and video snippets of daily life. So here's a dying dog here. Here's a woman doing drugs who's 10 weeks pregnant, 3 kids, age 19. Here's another one giving birth, smoking meth. Baby dies shortly thereafter. This is Karen Bass's Los Angeles. Unlike any place in the world, unlike any place that's ever existed in the history of the human race. And it goes on every day. And Joey and others post about it every day. We talk about it frequently. And Karen Bass refuses to do anything. And it's the kind of psychotic sickness that you really only see, I guess, in serial killers and war criminals. I don't know. Murderous dictators. It's that kind of callousness, coldness, cruelty, viciousness. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how this could be going on. It's absolutely amazing. All right, when we come back, we're going to have another round of the Moist Line. Moist Line Part 2. Any more reviews of Deborah here in Moist Line Part 2, or did we get were those the only ones we could play?
No Deborah in the second.
No Deborah in the second.
Because Deborah's not here. Deborah will be on her way home.
Oh, is that right? Did you arrange?
No, Eric.
To hear
That's what Eric always puts
okay.
the ones that I'm involved in.
All right, yeah.
The first part, because I'm here.
Well, you know what? He's already deleted all the filthy ones.
Yeah, I know you want to hear those.
No, that would be unkind.
That would.
That would be weird.
It would be.
I wouldn't do that.
Thank you.
Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour news.
Here is the latest. A jury convicts a gang member of first-degree murder in the killing of an off-duty LAPD officer, and investigators in Arizona release a second ransom note in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. We'll have more at the top of the hour, heading over to the 170 next.
Super sure. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's supposed to be the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. But you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. And your business runs all year. And then you find out, well, so do the gaps in your coverage and the risk, and you didn't know. So I'm telling you about SuperSure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, the CFO, or the HR manager, the whole thing can be too complicated just to buy a policy online. Well, that's what SuperSure is for. It's the super agency built for you. It's licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. They'll explain what you have, what you're getting. Supersure.com. You can access tools like fine print facts. This translates your current policy into plain English so you can see what's covered and what's not. And they have a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth, so you know exactly what needs protecting and how much you need to pay. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, and all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. Supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Southland weather from KFI. Hot tomorrow. Highs ranging from the 80s to the triple digits. This report brought to you by Blindster.com. From your Toyota dealers traffic center, we make it easy. Crash on the 170 Valley Village.
It's on the southbound side of that 170 to the 101 freeway. It looks like it is partially blocking lanes of that connector. And the South 170 is loading up away from Oxnard Street. Let's also take a look at the drive on the 134. This is making your way westbound. And that's just a little crowded coming off of Looks like it's coming right off of Pass Avenue, looking better before the 170, 101. And that 101 northbound, it's going to crowd up in Sherman Oaks away from Woodman. On the brakes ahead to just about Haskell, where they're clearing a crash out of lanes. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
This report is sponsored by Amazon Autos. Add car to cart.
Picture this. You're on magician duty at your kid's birthday, and it's also car shopping day. Sounds tough, right? Not with Amazon Autos. Shop for your car online, pick it up at the dealership, so you can get back to making magic. Visit Amazon.com/autos.
7 days on a Mexican Riviera cruise is the easiest way to make the whole family happy. Something for everyone and you, of course. Beach time, culture, food, relaxation, and stellar sweeping ocean views right from your cabin. Life on board luxurious Norwegian ships should be experienced at least once in your lifetime. And the iconic ports and entertainment of the Mexican Riviera make this vacation a no-brainer, especially if you're in LA. A Norwegian cruise vacation means you don't have to worry about logistics. 2027 bookings from LA and San Diego are live now. You'll go to Cabo, Puerto Vallarta, Ensenada, Mazatlan. Party, relax, explore. You don't have to choose. You can do it all. Casual bites to sophisticated dining, whatever you're in the mood for all the time on board a Norwegian cruise. Open air decks to feel the breeze. I can feel it now. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here. Book your cruise now. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or call 188-NCL-CRUISE.
Avoiding shorts because of your varicose veins? Just call 1-800-WEST Medical.
After an accident, one question comes to mind. What happens next? Wilshire Law Firm brings clarity when things feel uncertain. While you focus on healing, we fight for the compensation you deserve. That's what happens next. Call now. 1-800-ABCDEFG. Wilshire Law Firm is in LA.
Curious how you would look? PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com. PlasticSurgeryUncensored.com.
You ever wonder how far an EV can take you on one charge? Well, most people drive about 40 miles a day, which means you can do all daily stuff no problem. Go to work, grab the kids at school, get the groceries, and still have enough charge to visit your in-laws in the next county. But they don't need to know that. And the best part, you won't have to buy gas at all. The way forward is electric. Explore EVs that fit your life at electricforall.org.
KFI presents Revisionist History with Malcolm Gladwell. A journey through the overlooked and the misunderstood.
I'm Malcolm Gladwell. Every episode re-examines something from the past. An event, a person, an idea, even a song, and asks whether we got it right the first time. Because sometimes the past deserves a second chance.
Revisionist History. Tomorrow night at 9 on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Conway Show today after 6 p.m. A woman went to work out in North Hollywood like she does every day, walking home, and she gets sexually assaulted. They're looking for this guy. We will give you more details, but if you live in North Hollywood, be aware of this. All the details today after 6 on the Conway Show.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. Coming up right after 6 o'clock, you're going to be able to get the podcast if you missed anything today. John Kobylt Show on demand. That's on the iHeart app. And also our live YouTube thing will become something recorded that you could watch on YouTube. We're also live on X. And Conway will be here again in just a few minutes. Round to the Moist line in just seconds. Gavin Newsom, it's amazing how insistent he is on pushing a policy that's incredibly stupid when it comes to causing damage to businesses. He announced today that California's minimum wage is going to increase again January 1st to $17.40 an hour. When you do that, you frequently cost a lot of jobs for the people that you're trying to give a raise to. For example, when they came up with the $20 minimum wage for fast food workers, which was absurd, tens of thousands of fast food workers were fired from their jobs because fast food franchise owners couldn't afford it. And they are now switching to order bots, kiosks, screens. And it's been proven that that's what happened. Thousands of jobs disappeared when he made it $20 an hour. But that doesn't stop a stupid man. He's has a minimum wage increase for everybody up to $17.40. This causes businesses to go out of business. This raises the price of all these goods and services. Research director Rebecca Paxton works at the Employment Policies Institute, and she says Newsom wants a badge of honor for announcing the highest statewide wage mandate in the country, but his track record of wage hikes puts workers dead last. Tens of thousands of jobs lost. And repeatedly they do studies, and repeatedly they come up with the same result. And that's why in another report this week, it came out that California, out of all 50 states, ranks 50th in economic opportunity. Nearly all the job increases in California come from the public sector, government. No job increases in the private sector. All right, time to do the Moist Line. Let's do round two now.
Hey, it's John. Thanks for calling the Moist Line. I'm so excited to hear from you. It's about time.
One thing you have to worry about if they start repairing the streets is that once you start repairing a major street in Los Angeles, you have to think about putting in bike lanes and bus lanes. And it's been horrible in some parts. You look at Roscoe Boulevard in the Valley, they took a whole lane away and everybody's sitting in traffic.
Fauci got a lot of awards, but he was missing one. That would be the cause and effect award, and that one gets you some jail time.
I don't know why you don't call the pandemic an attack on President Trump's presidency. That's what it was all about. You know it was, and it worked, and they didn't care what it cost anybody.
And that guy, he was probably paid to do everything they told him to do. I want you to go on TV, hype it up. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. Maybe they should look deeper. Someone.
Why the would Fauci need a pardon in the first place?
About those gangsters, or air quotes, reformed gangsters that are kicking homeless people out. No, the money that everyone's giving them to kick out the homeless people is going straight to the gang. So, yay, vigilantism, but it's going towards gangs. And everyone hates the gangs, right?
With that ghost town, what is going to keep the gang members from telling the homeless to move on, but telling them where to go? Like to a past clients. And now they're charging the past clients to get rid of the same guys again. So they're controlling the bums and moving them to different places to get more money over and over.
This is exactly what happened in Mexico, where they lost control of their police departments and their administrations to control their country, and they turned into cartels running everything.
Yeah, does the Skid Row Care Campus also give out wine glasses, in case they want to do something that's not illegal?
It's about time the people stand up and do what's right and call out other humans who are acting inappropriately, such as all the homeless scumbags. Do away with them, whether it's the police or these gangbangers turned businessmen.
I love this idea of these ghost town guys. It seems like it's a viable option that seems to be working quite effectively. So I'm all behind it, man.
John Nate, I'll tell you what, buddy, you're a hero. I am a frustrated senior retired military guy, and I got no way to vent my disgusting feelings that I have for the country today. But if it wasn't for you, I'd go nuts.
Harm reduction is to clear the streets slowly. That's why they call it harm reduction.
You really think that Gavin Newsom doesn't have all these cities and all these people by the... And you think they're going to release information about the high-speed rail that Governor Gavin Newsom screwed up to the unbelievable level? Come on, guys, you know that. It's a gruesome deal.
Only in government do we see something that doesn't work and decide it needs to be expanded.
Thank you for leaving your message. Please hang up. Goodbye.
That is the Moist Line, 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86 for next Friday, or use the TalkBack feature on the iHeartRadio app. In a few minutes, you could hear the podcast for the show we did today, and you can also go to YouTube and watch the recorded video of it. And we will see you Monday at 3 o'clock. Conway is next. Crozier with the news live in the KFI 24-hour news center.